Kansas City Sports, 96.5.
You're listening to the all-new
Fan.
96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
We made it. We're here. Back on a Tuesday. We appreciate your kindness, your patience, your respectfulness, your understanding as to why we weren't here yesterday. I don't think anybody did anything yesterday. If you did, before you jump my back and say, Dusty, some of us had to work yesterday, I applaud you.
Congratulations.
I applaud you. God forbid, anything were to happen or anything like that. But, hey, good for those people. But obviously records amounts of snow, craziness over the weekend. We missed yesterday for the safety of everybody here. Back at it today. Full slate of shows. Shouldn't be going anywhere the rest of the week. Knock on wood that, Friday's front isn't what they think it's going to be.
Hopefully it's not as big as they said originally,
Yeah,
right?
no, I don't think so. We are geared up, ready to go. Again, appreciate all the kind words that were sent out to us. Via X, via messages, whatever it may have been. Brutal last couple of days, but we're back and we're rested and we're ready for the playoff stretch to begin. But I mean, hey, look, a couple quick shout outs, right? I think we can all agree to this. Shout out to the plow people.
Oh, the plow people were outstanding because I'll tell you, driving in today, I didn't think I'd see any blacktop for a month with the way that this city was covered in ice and snow and sleet and all that nastiness.
Even the Missouri side was nice.
I'll tell you, which is an upset. But that's because people stayed home yesterday and nobody got on the roads, and we allowed the plows and the road crews to do their job, and they did an unbelievable job at that today. If you're a plow driver for any of the municipalities in this area, give yourself a round of applause, because I'm sure your boss isn't giving you a round of applause today, but we will, for getting out there and the fact that the highways were as clear as you could possibly be after a storm like that this morning. Way to go to all the snowplow drivers out there. Congratulations. You guys did a hell of a job.
And to be fair, they're probably not done working.
Oh, God, no. Because my street still hasn't been plowed yet,
right.
and I'm sure yours still hasn't been plowed. Nope. And I picked Mac up this morning, maybe a little bit. Plow kind of went through there. But they got to get the main roads plowed first. They've got to get the highways cleared. They've got to get the state highways cleared. And then they can worry about, our side streets and whatnot. But they've got all day today to get some of those other side streets taken care of, and then get the school parking lots plowed. I mean, there's still a lot to do here in Kansas City. I just don't think some people realize the severity of this storm, Dusty. I mean, I think it's fair to say,
Clearly.
right, Mac, that there's some people that just didn't realize the severity of this storm, and it turned out to be one of the biggest storms. I think I saw yesterday the fourth highest snowfall in Kansas City's history took place yesterday. I think it was what Channel 9 reported. So we had ourselves a doozy out there yesterday, and all the people who had to take care of the roads, congratulations to you guys. You did an amazing job of kind of getting us back out on the roads today.
And to the people that, unfortunately their job, forced them, as little as it may seem, the workers at Quick Trip, stores closing, restaurants closing.
Shout out Bob Harvey over at Quick Trip, man. Yeah, he was there for 48 hours.
I think I told you guys yesterday, or maybe I didn't tell you, went to Hy-Vee on Sunday, right? Ran out of beer.
Sunday you went to Hy-Vee in the middle of the storm.
I'm sorry, Monday. Sorry, yesterday. Monday. I
Yesterday.
lose track. Monday, after everything kind of settled down, shoveled the driveway, cleared the car about noon, went to Hy-Vee. Went to get a little bit of liquid and a little bit of essentials that I needed that we ran out of, which was fine. We got there, got back, shoveled the driveway, everything. And the guy that's in the liquor department looks depleted. And I'm like, man, very disheveled look. And I'm like, are you happy it's over? And he goes, we did a record this weekend.
Everybody did records,
And this was the Hy-Vee on Rice Road and Lee Summit. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, we did $1 million. I was like, you did $1 million? Dead serious. I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, we did $1 million in sales, the most the store's ever done. I was like, what was the liquor department like? He goes, Boy, it
Oh,
was,
that wasn't the liquor department.
No, that was just the store.
I thought you meant the liquor
store.
department did $1 million. I was like, oh my God.
But he said the liquor department had a record weekend,
Yeah.
which also helped the store do $1 million, which means people, I mean, the shelves were wrecked. And the other thing, too, we give credit to the plows. We give credit to the people that work in hospitals, the people that work at gas stations, people who do all that. Shout out to the meteorologists, man, because just like this job, oh, you guys really got that prediction right about that Chiefs game? Well, once in a blue moon, we get it right. And I understand that meteorology is tough because you have to gauge weather and science and make sure it's going to actually hit where you think it's going to hit. Man, from the start to the finish, these young men and young women got this right.
They really did, because usually they don't.
They said, and that's fair, right? Like, we don't get it right a lot of times either. But when we do, you better believe, loud voice, smile on my face, we're going to let you know we got it right. Every one of these meteorologists that led the way, like from every single one of them, congratulations, because you nailed it. Yeah. They said after 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, it's going to get ugly. By Sunday afternoon, 5:30, 6 o'clock, going to get real nasty. Monday, going to be abysmal. Probably want to stay inside. Literally from start to finish, from light rain drizzle to sleet to ice to snow to records amounts of snow. Hell, Lee Summit got 12 inches of snow. Yeah. Lenexa got 11. Brookside 12. Platte City 12 inches. Overland Park.
We all got a foot.
Everybody got a foot of snow. We were prepared for it. They got it right. And, now we just got to wait for it to melt in about 7 weeks.
Well, I was talking to my neighbor about that last night. Like, I'm going to get a little weird here for a second. I don't mind this snow being on the ground for a long period of time. We need to cool the earth off, man. I'm being serious about that. Like, it's okay to kind of put a little snow blanket, if you will, on top of the earth for a while. So I'm good with it standing on there. Cool us down a little bit. Let's kind of let things reset, kill all the vermin and crap that's out there right now. And, yeah, probably by the time the Royals get back from Surprise, Arizona, we'll be looking at green grass and getting ourselves the opportunity to have some spring baseball getting ready to take place. I'll ask you guys this: the Super Bowl is 33 days from today. Do you think the snow will be melted by the time we leave for the Super Bowl?
No, because I think we're gonna get more.
Yeah, I think
it's just gonna keep piling
it up.
The next 3 days are absolutely brutal. Like yesterday,
Cold.
Today, and tomorrow are all the same. It's like high of 13. I mean, I think my car literally at one point this morning said 0.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a heat wave when we leave. It's going to be 8.
Right. The good news is the sun will be out over the next couple of days,
the other thing, too, is that when you have snow like this and it piles up, like you saw our parking lot.
Oh, yeah. That's not going anywhere.
Let me ask you this. That snow, is it going to be there after Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's a month.
Yeah.
That ain't going anywhere.
I mean, I think when you start to look at piles of the snow and whatnot, where they're going to put it all and whatnot, no, you're getting into that point where these huge piles of snow are going to be here for quite some time. And again, that's okay. It's wintertime. I mean, it's kind of what we expect to have. But just to kind of wrap up the snow day and everything, like everybody did phenomenal yesterday. And I don't know if people are going to be out of school tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, whatever the case may be. I think they'll probably be back in, beginning tomorrow, because kids haven't been to school since the 20th of December, right?
Parents are losing their
minds.
Parents
are losing their minds. Like it's definite like cabin fever time right now for a lot of people. So I think even the teachers want to get back. Everybody wants to get back. Nobody wants to be sitting around the crib all day doing absolutely nothing, because the longer you do that, then the harder it is for everybody to kind of get back into their routine.
I would assume maybe you punt on tomorrow just to solidify it, make sure it's 100%. But like you said, I think that driving in today, at least from Lee Summit to Shawnee Mission, it was fine.
It was fine. And I was floored by that.
That's why I'm like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, the sun's gonna come out, and whether it's still 19 degrees when the sun's out, like, you can notice it on your car if it's outside. Like, things melt when that sun hits it. So like,
very fast.
More stuff will melt. The only thing that is concerning is like the what do they call, the wind chill in the morning.
Yeah,
because apparently bus stops are still a thing.
Right, they are. Yeah, for some kids, no, it
not everybody has the
is.
luxuriness of like being able to be dropped off at school. Like some kids have to ride the bus, so like you have to factor in like, hey, some kids might have to stand out with this. It's cold as you know what, and they're still whatever, but. I would imagine tomorrow they get back to school
because I would have said no. If the roads weren't as good as they were today,
they were great.
They really were. Like
shout out to the plows, man.
Can't say it enough. I mean, God, they were so good today. Like stunningly good.
I've also never been more envious of having like a small little like tractor with a plow.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a couple guys putting them on their trailer and heading out. I'm like, dude, take that off the trailer and like do the street. Like, we'll all chip in like $20. Like. How great would that's got to be a great feeling.
You know,
like
one of our neighbors had one of
plow.
those big, like, snow blowers, you know, and he just started and he did the whole block yesterday. Shout out to that guy.
I mean, that's awesome.
He just went right down the
Didn't
sidewalk.
Want anything, didn't need anything, just went out there and did
I got to do Ernie's because Ernie's not feeling good, and this guy wasn't feeling good, and then Fred's a little bit older. And he went down the entire block and knocked out the entire sidewalk for everybody. And you know what? It took him about 25 minutes, Dusty. It wasn't like it was a big, long thing.
Yeah.
Just one pass right down, took care of everybody. So great move by him to clear everybody out. So hopefully, you know, everybody kind of gets cleared out, gets a little bit back to their routine today. I know a lot of people aren't going to fully get back to their routine until the kiddos are in school and all that's going on.
Like, I'm still kind of like, what day is it?
I mean, like when you think about it, I mean, I've worked 3 days. This is my third day of work since December 20th. Like,
must be nice.
Well, you've had 5. Like, I mean, it's not like you've been busting balls here,
yeah.
you know. So
Hey, man.
I've been carrying the water here. You worked like one extra day, but no, like, so I understand like the getting back into the routine, and it's important for the kids. It's important for everybody, and I think hopefully by tomorrow we'll be able to kind of get back in that routine and, you know, see where we are. I think last night I had heard a lot of the school districts haven't been able to have their plows run yet because there are so many plow backups right now because so many lots needed to be plowed, and everybody is on kind of borrowed time. Everybody's kind of behind, so that's where we are right now. A few more plow things need to happen, and hey, we're back and we're good to go, and we're ready to handle this thing, man.
Rock and roll, man.
Congratulations to everybody in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas, everybody on both sides of the state line. I thought we handled this brilliantly. This was an adult situation that got handled, for the most part, like adults. Every adult that I know, for the most part, handled this situation the right way.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for understanding why we weren't here yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that not everybody's fans of national radio, but also everybody's a fan of having us here for a long time. And if we're not going to be here in safety reasons, then we're not going to be here for a long time.
Right.
So we appreciate the love and support there. And again, appreciate everybody that had some sort of impact on getting us out of the dog days of winter for just a short little bit of time. And shout out to Jay Southland Tow Service. I'm sure you guys are busy this weekend. 913-586-7965. All right. I hope you're ready to talk sports, because that was our shout-outs to the people of the great working world out there, because that's who we are, that's who we care about, and that's the rest of that quote. So coming up on the other side, man, you know, the library's back open. You know, maybe not schools, but the library's open, and just quit your bitching. Mac Morey, Bob Fescoe, Dusty Liggins. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty. Make sure to follow us on Instagram @TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes content from the show. Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, today is the day you're probably going to need my friends over at Jay Southland Tow. I know for the last 48 hours, the guys and gals at Jay Southland Tow were working their tails off, saving people from ditches, pulling people out of, you know, the median, and just helping people get on with their lives because of how bad the road conditions have been around Kansas City. And as good as they are right now, you still may run into some issues with your car on the road today, whether it's slipping off the side of the road, getting into a car accident, maybe you get stuck on a street that's yet been plowed. If that's the case, you need to call my friends over at Jay Southland Tow. I want you to keep their number handy and have it ready to go. So when you do run into car trouble, you do get stuck, something bad does happen, you know exactly who to call. It's Jay Southland Tow, 816-779-4TOW. That's 816-779-4TOW, or at southlandtow.com. Whether you're north, you're south, you're east, you're west, it doesn't matter. Jay Southland Tow Service is just a phone call away. And as soon as you call them, they will come out. You don't have to wait for the insurance company to be involved. So keep that number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or at southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments in Tammy from the West, and it's Jay Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay Southland Tow.
Football fans, buckle up, because for the first time ever, we've got 5 straight days of playoff football in college and the pros, and FanDuel's celebrating with the great playoff payoff. That's a no-sweat, same-game parlay every day for all 5 days. With a no-sweat SGP, you can combine your bets from the same game for a chance at even bigger winnings. And if it doesn't hit, you'll get bonus bets back. So not only do we get to watch 5 straight days of playoff football, but that's also 5 chances to win big. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to be a part of this epic run. It's the great playoff payoff. And it's only on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay requirement. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hi. This weekly football recap is brought to you by MD Anderson Cancer Center.
It all came down to Week 18 as the regular season ended and the playoff schedule was confirmed. Detroit beat Minnesota to clinch the division and the number 1 seed, earning them home field advantage throughout the playoffs and a bye in the first week, while Minnesota will go on to play the wild card game on the road in LA on Monday night.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is doing whatever it takes in the pursuit of making cancer history. Learn more at findyourmdanderson.com.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked number 1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Booth Creek Wagyu, KC's premier Wagyu beef meat market, has even more convenient ways for you to shop. In addition to their location at 135th and Metcalf, they're now open at 95th and Knoll. Everyone deserves to elevate their beef. Whether you're looking to wow your family with an unforgettable roast this holiday season or impress your friends, neighbors, and coworkers, their Wagyu experts are ready to help you pick out something unforgettable. Booth Creek Wagyu, now with 2 locations, open 7 days a week or at boothcreekwagyu.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by the technicians you can trust with your house keys, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. As you make your way on the Missouri side, heading into the Grandview Triangle, 435 eastbound, sluggish from Holmes over into the Grandview Triangle. That interchange itself quite slow in any direction, and a lot of your bridges and overpasses and any and all interchanges are still seeing slow traffic as folks are having to navigate slushy conditions on elevated roadways. Money-back guarantees and parts and labor warranties mean you aren't just buying products, you are securing your investment. For a limited time, receive a free furnace when you purchase an AC. Schedule your complimentary proposal online at anthonyphc.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Card, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
right back at it here on Fescoe and Dusty. Thanks for listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports in Kansas City, of course. Mac Morey, Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens with you here on this frigid, brutal Tuesday. Hopefully you stay safe, stay warm, and hopefully that snow will, start
dissipating, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, the sooner the
word
better,
of the
right?
Yeah, word of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We appreciate you. We're glad to have you back. We're glad to give you some sort of voice of reason on your sports radio station. Again, all of us will be here today. Cody, Gold, Carrington, Rob, Drew, Bob, Mac, me. So we appreciate you be back.
Yeah.
I did kind of have a problem. Now, this is one of those things that we have, unfortunately, where, you can't really, it's not really in your control, but also it's also in your control. And I was kind of annoyed yesterday because obviously we didn't get the chance to give our opinion of just the national perspective of how are Cincinnati fans really serious about this?
I think they are.
You're dead serious.
Yeah.
Because I know we have these conspiracy theories that we see on Netflix and you watch it, you're like, wow, that actually kind of makes sense. If you think about it that way, or you're like, these people are way off their rockers. When I think about Cincinnati, hold on, let me get this straight. Cincinnati fans at the end of their season that they finished 9-8, where they
8-9, right?
No, 9-8.
They were 9-8.
Yeah,
that's right. They won the last game. Barely, but again,
barely.
You barely beat a Pittsburgh team that's trending in the wrong direction right now. I'm just going to
Russell
put that
Wilson
out there,
was 5 of 12 for 51 yards in the first half.
And that offense that has changed lives scored 19 points.
Right, and you've barely beat Pittsburgh on Saturday, right? I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
I know it was snowing and all.
And we'll get to the library here in about 9 minutes, but before we do that, I'm trying to go back and think about this, right? I'm sorry, but I love good storylines. That's what makes football great. That's what makes sports great. You love sports hate because it makes everything so much more appeasing and entertaining. And you go out there and you call it Burrowhead, then you get beat, and your mayor's a jackwagon and all this sort of stuff. But what I don't understand is why you would think the Chiefs would personally lose just so you don't get in the playoffs.
Because you're messed in the head. That's why.
And that's the thing that's very interesting to me, because it's first off, why don't you go back to week 1 where you lost at home to New England Patriots?
It was very simple.
Right.
Beat the Patriots in week 1, who fired their coach immediately after a game.
Right. And then their owner had a very bizarre press conference about it.
Does anybody buy that guy, first of all? Robert Kraft is becoming one of the biggest frauds in sports to me.
No, he rode the coattails of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Just said, do your thing.
Oh, I'm a steward of this franchise.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to own the team. Fired.
I put him in a very bad position. That's on me, but I still fired him.
They still fired him. Oh, because Variable said he was ready to go.
The owner of the Giants put their coach and GM in a bad position. Didn't fire him.
Took all the blame for it. We shouldn't have signed Daniel Jones, basically. Right?
I think that's great. We dive into that a little bit later. But the fact that Cincinnati fans literally go to sleep at night, they're they lost on purpose. I'll tell you what happened with the Chiefs. Okay, it's real simple. Denver had to win that game. Denver played their ass off, and they did it against a B and a C team.
Mm-hmm. Pretty simple. And the Chiefs put themselves in position by taking care of business in the regular season and to have the luxury of not having to play their guys in the final game to give them the rest that they've needed and deserved since they had a bye in week 6. And if you're waking up in Cincinnati this morning and you're mad still on a Tuesday now at the Kansas City Chiefs and you not making the playoffs after you fired your all-world defensive coordinator who was going to get every head coaching job known to man 3 years ago, you fired him. You wake up this morning going, well, damn, before September 15th, we had lost to the Patriots and the Chiefs. You were 0-2 before the first 2 weeks of the season were completely finished in the NFL.
Not only that,
and so go back and look at that and the stuff you didn't take care of business of. And it's peak, this era where we blame everybody else. We have no personal responsibility. It's somebody else's fault. It's not our fault. No, own up to it. Your team just didn't play good football this year, and you're a bunch of jackasses. Yeah, that's all there is to say.
And I mean, sorry, but you beat Denver the week before. You had to. You did it.
You did
Congrats.
it. Right.
But that's why when I look back at the regular season, this is what I would tell Cincinnati fans, because there's one that'll be here in about 2 hours. It's just unbelievably on a high horse about everything. But the thing I will tell you, which is what we noticed I want to say it was last year, is that when you lose those games, not only is it a loss, you still make the playoffs, but like every game you lose to teams that are competitive around your division, you lose the most important aspect of that, and that is controlling your own fate. The Chiefs won 15 games this year, okay? Yeah, it was tough, and they lost to Buffalo, but they had one more games. So the Chiefs always controlled their own destiny. They controlled their own fate. And when they beat all those teams after Buffalo, whether it was by 3, whether it was by 2, whether it was by a doink and a miss or a doink and a make, they still won, which means they controlled their narrative. And there's nothing, to give an analogy of weather, there's nothing that it is more depleting in your soul of when you can't control what's going on. Like when your car hits ice and you can't hit your brakes, you can't turn your steering wheel, you have no control over it. That was Cincinnati for the entire season because they allowed to do that to themselves. They started their day late, which means they had to rush to work, which means they had to get through the obstacles. Right. And when you do that, things go awry. When you prepare yourself and say, hey, I don't care if we win 27-20, 26-25, 22-17. As long as we win, we control our fate. That's what the Chiefs did. That's not what you did. And when you sit here and you cry and you moan and complain, oh, we're the most disrespected team. We had a quarterback that led in passing yards and touchdowns. We had a wide receiver that won the Triple Crown. Our defensive end won, the sack record. What does that tell you about your franchise?
Well, what it tells you about your franchise is you're not very good because with all of that, the Chiefs still had 6 more wins than you did. And you had arguably the Defensive Player of the Year, the MVP in Joe Burrow, Offensive Player of the Year, a Triple Crown, as you mentioned, wide receiver, and the Chiefs still had 6 more wins than you. And that's the difference between being a bad team to a good team and a good team to a great team is knowing how to win those games. Cincinnati just didn't know how to win games. And in games started by, Joe Burrow this year, the Bengals were 9-8. In games started by Josh Allen, the Bills were 13-4. In games started by Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs were 15-1. And for all of the flowers and the petals and all of this stuff that all of these national people have been throwing at Joe Burrow and Josh Allen all year and talking about how great they are, I look at their records right now, and Patrick Mahomes in game started had a 3-game record in the loss column better than the next closest competitor when you start talking about Joe Burrow, when you start talking about Buffalo, when you start talking about these other teams. The Chiefs were that much better than everybody else, and that's because they know how to win. And as we've been saying for 2 years, the regular season, the style points, all this stuff that people get caught up in, where we've allowed fantasy, we've allowed gambling, we've allowed all of this stuff to kind of factor in how we view the NFL these days. The only thing that matters at the end of the year is how many games did you win, how many games did you lose. It doesn't matter what your point differential was. It doesn't matter what your DVOA is. It doesn't matter what your hard hit rate is. It doesn't matter what any of that is. How many games did you win? How many games did you lose? And if you can't take care of business in the regular season and stack those wins, whether it's by 1 point or 20 points or 2 points or 10 points, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you didn't win enough games. You put up great numbers, fantastic. That and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee. Way to go. Big deal. You put up some great fantasy numbers this year, and your team is sitting at home watching the postseason because you don't know how to win. And that's where I go back to Cincinnati. You're firing your defensive coordinator and some of these other defensive people. When does it become about the head coach now, too, and understanding how to get your team over that hump and to win those games? Because now that game where you won here in Kansas City in that AFC Championship game, that's 4 Super Bowls ago now, okay? How long is that going to last in Cincinnati? You've got to start taking personal responsibility. And until you as a franchise take personal responsibility and fan bases take personal responsibility, it's never going to change. Sit there and blame everybody else you want for all your ill wills in life, right? It's not going to change until you change. And until Cincinnati changes and starts winning some of these close games and beating New England, I don't know, in week 1 that's one of the worst teams in the NFL, shut the F up.
We are the team to beat in the AFC, and we know it, and we got to act like it, and we got to play like it, too. We are the team to beat in the AFC, and we know it, and we got to act like it, and we got to play like it, too. We are the team to beat in the AFC, and we know it, and we got to act like it, and we got to play like it, too.
Hey, they were the team to beat. They got beat 8 times.
They did.
Yeah, they were the team to beat.
They had twice as many losses as Buffalo.
I hate the whole fact that, hey, man, blah, blah, blah. They just didn't want us in. Here's the other thing.
You know what the Chiefs wanted to do? Not get anybody hurt. And boy, did they play like they didn't want to get anybody hurt on Sunday.
Here's
I've never seen a game like that.
Here's the other thing, too. The Chiefs lost to Denver because they had the ability to legitimately rest everybody. Like, I felt bad for those people that still had to wear the pads. Like, you look at Chris Jones, comfortable wearing the beat, because there's only so many enactors you can have,
well,
right?
Yeah, because you eventually need to field the team.
Nick Bolton, hey, dress up, man. You're never going to get in, but put a, strap up, baby. But here's the thing. And I'll be done with this, and then we'll move on. Cincinnati, if you think the Chiefs went into that game and literally said to themselves, hey, remember the number one goal today.
Lose.
Let's lose so they can't get in. You are out of your freaking mind.
You're nuts.
Like, if you have an ex-lover, guy or girl, and you go out and you're like, you know what? They're dressing like that because they want me to walk in and find them. No, they don't. They're dressing like that because they went out and bought that dress, Daddy. Like, that's what they wanted to wear. If you we do this all the time. Do the say it out loud test. Right? Like, was it safe to drive into work yesterday?
No.
Right? Immediately.
No.
Right? Cincinnati fan. Right? I get it. It sucks. You missed playoffs. You finished above 500. Congratulations. Ferrigno's gone. But here's the deal. Say out loud. I bet they lost because they didn't want us in. Absolutely.
Who believes that? But there are people who do believe that.
Enough for us to talk for 10 minutes on it.
But see, that's the sad thing there. It's very sad for those individuals that believe that. Like, you need to seriously do some soul searching if you're a Bengal fan and you're waking up and you believe the Chiefs lost a game on purpose so you couldn't get into the postseason. The Chiefs played Carson Wentz. They didn't stand a chance once we saw his first play of the game to win that game. I mean, my God, Carson Wentz stunk out loud in that football game. The Chiefs had no game plan. They had no expectation. They had no desire to be part of that game, and that's fine. They earned that right. That's what you want your team to do in Week 17. And then it wasn't just Cincinnati fans. Some guy, Don Van Natta, who covers the Cowboys or was an author for like a bunch of Jerry Jones books. I think he had something to do with the Balco, if I'm not mistaken, at one point in time. Works for ESPN as like an investigative reporter. He said it was the most disgusting thing that he's ever seen in pro sports, the way that the Chiefs went out there. Sir, maybe you haven't covered pro sports. And then he went on to say that the Chiefs cannot be called America's team. And that's when X went on their research and realized this guy wrote like 3 books about Jerry Jones. You're a ball washer for Jerry Jones. So what you say about America's team doesn't carry weight because you're a ball washer for Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
And so this guy said, I mean, the comments that people had about the Chiefs losing this football game, like they had never seen a moment in time, which we do every year in the NFL. We act like we've never seen this stuff before, but yet it happens every year where a team has it wrapped up and they don't have to play. And this guy's like, 24 days, kiss my ass about all this rest. I've covered sports for... Sir, you clearly haven't. Obviously haven't. Don Van Dummy. Because the dumb stuff that you were saying, the worst thing in the history of sports we could have seen. This guy's still arguing on X 3 days later. That's how dumb Van Natta is.
And the Bills rested their starters.
Everybody, I mean, we saw, you mentioned to me, Marcus Mariota played for the Redskins on Sunday. Nobody knew he played in Washington.
Commanders. For the 913. So this is why I know you're not understanding what we said. Fans. We said Bengals fans. Bengals fans. I said it 4 times. Joe Burrow literally said it's not the Chiefs. They should have won more games. LOL. Again, didn't say Joe Burrow's name that he was the one that said this. This is literally their fan base and people that are around their team, media members, fan base that are like, they lost on purpose. I'll get quiet. Let's get into the library.
Sounds like the music we were playing yesterday, sitting fireside.
Yeah. I think I owe rent to the garage. Well, can't really talk about that in the library. By the way, guys, I'm pretty sure Antonio Pierce is going to get fired today.
You know, I'm wondering what's going to happen.
Calm down.
Yesterday kind of sucked for a Black Monday.
Yeah,
you know,
Monday, yeah.
We only had one coach lose his job. That blows.
In a year like this?
Pretty white Monday for us here in Kansas City. The library is open. Thanks to the plows and everybody out there that kept the roads safe. Mo.K. Shout out to you. We start out today's library session with the Book of Sad Endings. Who had more of a sad ending with their time? Gerard Mayo gets 1 year, and Bob Kraft says it's his fault? Or Doug Peterson, who won about 4 games in his last 25 in Jacksonville, being a Super Bowl head coach, gone.
Sadder ending for me is clearly Mayo. We called, at least I told you Doug Peterson was done after week 1. I mean, that Etienne fumble screwed up the
I thought you said last week there was a chance he wouldn't be gone.
There was. They were talking about it last week. They're like, maybe Doug Peterson may not be gone, right?
That's true. No, there was a chance.
Right?
Yeah, there was a chance.
Then they realized, all right, we better make a decision here.
So is this Trevor Lawrence's third head coach incoming?
Yeah.
And when are we going to decide that Trevor Lawrence just sucks?
I think we found that out this year.
Is that okay to say, or are we not allowed to say that in NFL circles? Because Trevor's supposed to be good.
What if he's the next Sam Darnold?
Well, he needs to find the right coach. But no, it's Mayo. I mean, that guy was, I guess you could say, set up to fail. You know, clearly the owner said he was set up to fail. So I feel bad. It's hard to follow the guy, you know, and he had to follow the guy.
Yeah, he did.
Vrabel will be fine now because there's been that buffer between him and Belichick.
I'd say the sad ending's still more Doug Peterson because he started on top. This is a former Super Bowl winning guy. They made the playoffs, came a touchdown away from beating the Chiefs in the divisional round 2 years ago, and now they've lost, like Dusty said, 18 of 25, 21. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's pretty sad, Dougie. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's out. Vrabel's in, and then Vrabel's going to bring in his offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels.
Of course he is.
Of course.
Josh McDaniels back in New England, Vrabes.
Yeah, they're going to bring the nostalgia back.
They're going to turn that.
He is a good OC.
He's a good OC.
He just doesn't know how to coach.
Terrible head
or
coach.
draft.
Yeah.
Or talk.
You just call plays, man.
Yeah.
Just call plays.
Okay, we move on. Better surprise ending. Cincinnati, Atlanta, or Pittsburgh?
Surprise with Pittsburgh, meaning how they collapsed at the end?
Just how their team has started to look over the last couple of weeks, playing actually good teams that actually are playoff teams. It's fun to beat up on the small teams.
Oh, but we don't put that into perspective when when the Chiefs are going 6-1 against playoff teams or whatever it was.
We're not talking about the Chiefs. You're loud.
Surprise ending. None of them really.
Is loud.
None of them.
I'm surprised in the Atlanta.
Yeah, I would say Atlanta.
That they collapsed so much and didn't win that division, or
just the way that they decided to finish their season. Like, they had a rookie quarterback they drafted in the first round after giving a quarterback $180 million to be their starter just to bench him in the middle of a playoff run. That's a very surprise ending.
Penix was good. The team
I think if they would have
yeah.
started Penix earlier, I think they'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they may have be, yeah.
Cincinnati's a surprise ending because they tried to make it relevant again.
Yeah.
They got good, but
That's fair.
It's what they do every year.
Yeah, no, normally they're in the playoffs by now. Or they miss them because their quarterback's out. But I mean, it was just a surprise the way that, like, they lost, and then their whole fan base is like, yeah.
Chiefs' fault.
We lost to the New England Patriots. We only beat Carolina, Vegas, the Giants, those teams. Couldn't beat Baltimore, couldn't beat the Chiefs, couldn't beat Pittsburgh. But you know what? Dang it, the Chiefs just lost because, that was a surprise to me. I think that's how they thought it was going to end.
That's fair.
We move on to the biggest protagonist of the season. Dan Campbell, Sam Darnold, Saquon Barkley.
I'm going to go Saquon Barkley on this one.
Solid choice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think
How about his shirt on Sunday?
Everybody's been rooting for him, all year. So I'm going to go Saquon Barkley. Now, he'll be terrible next year, just so you know, fantasy owners.
Did you see his shirt that he wore?
No, I
his
didn't.
shirt? Yeah,
It was
what?
all pictures of cartoon offensive linemen, and then on the back had a message like, it's all about the guys up front or
Let's
something
go.
like that.
Hey, that's good. That's true.
I'm sure they all got a Rolex and a watch, and I'm sure somebody of their ex-players like, why did they show this?
It is all about the
It
guys
is.
up front. That's why when people scream about, we need weapons. We don't have a left tackle, sir.
Sir, you're not going to have any weapons if you keep the voice up.
We saw Saquon with New York last year. He was not nearly as good, right? Guys up front matter. So, I think Saquon's a good answer. I'd say Sam Darnold for me. Been really fun.
Even after that last game.
Even after the last game, yes.
Of all games, you can't play bad in game 272 when everybody's watching.
I know. Yeah, it's the recency bias thing. You know what? The way I think about it is, that was a warm-up playoff game for Sam Darnold. Hey, man, you screwed up.
He's going to look that good in the postseason.
You got double elimination, man. Let's go.
Because, every Viking fan's going, ugh.
He saw ghosts on Monday. That's fair. He saw ghosts.
I think I know the answer to this next question. The biggest antagonist of the season. Littlefinger, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill.
I mean, I could go
tough.
with all three of
I
those
know,
guys.
this is actually good.
I think Aaron Rodgers, for me, is the answer because he had the bigger impact on everybody. Tyreek Hill being a baby over the weekend. I want to leave. I don't like it here. From the guy who said that Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes. I said Tyreek Hill sucked on the day that he was drafted by this team.
Sir.
And he still sucks.
He still sucks.
Okay.
But Aaron Rodgers had an impact on everybody. Got people fired. I mean, like the whole thing. Like Aaron Rodgers is the biggest antagonist in the NFL.
You said it a few weeks ago too, Bob, and I thought you were wrong, but I think I'm with you now. He's a Jag. Hill is now a Jag. He's just a guy. He's not a playmaker. He's not a guy who lifts the team up anymore. He's fine.
Right.
He's just a player.
Perfect cowboy for next season.
That's
Washed
exactly
up.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Apparently, you guys do not understand the rules. The library is closed as we shut the door to that segment on a Tuesday. As Lycan's library comes to a close. Yeah, Tyreek Hill. We'll dive into that a little bit later. That guy is a absolute bag.
Clown.
He's not a Jag. He's a bag.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is.
He's graduated for the first time. I mean, I'll stop there. We'll come back on the other side. We'll do Tough Tuesdays here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Fescoe and Dusty. Subscribe and watch the show on YouTube by going to our channel at The Fan 965, Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friends over at Heartland Men's Health want to have you have a happy new year. And for many of us, the new year is the time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. And my friend over at Heartland Men's Health can help you get there and help you take that ED problem and get it resolved in 2025. Heartland Men's Health has treatments that work when the pills or herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%, and some treatments can even have you last an hour or more. Heartland Men's Health is successfully treating men right here in Kansas City. So schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Plus, they have an expert staff on hand, and if you're like a lot of men, you could be having sex the day after your appointment. They have 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and their new office in North Kansas City. So call them today, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? The playoffs are here, and time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players. Choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code PICKKFNZ. That's code PICKKFNZ. For new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay on any line. Plus Price Lock, we won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Alex to let you know that if you're looking for that new career, Centric is the place you want to go. Look, you've been sitting around in a job you don't like anymore, and you want to try something new. I get it. Who wouldn't want a job with better pay, better career advancement, and better opportunities? So if you've been thinking of a new career, the new year is a great time to start. Classes start in the middle of January at Centric. Contact our friend Russ. Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Metro Ford online at kcmetroford.com. Most of your area interchanges are quite heavy and slow this morning. 35 southbound heading out of downtown, also very slow. You hit delays before 670, and it crawls down past 20th Street, where there's a stalled car blocking the right lane. At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit, just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption, only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Somebody on the text line is like, Josh Allen played one snap, but nobody's talking about how the Bills were resting.
Oh.
Lost to the Patriots because they didn't want to get the Patriots in the,
Yeah, that's right. Didn't want to give the Patriots a better draft pick, so they went out there, or whatever the case may be.
Oh.
Yeah. Who had the opportunity to play their starters over the weekend? People who needed to play their starters over the weekend.
I think Allen just wanted to do it for like what he wanted to start all 17 games.
Yeah, very selfish move by Josh Allen, but also gets credit for a loss. Chiefs 15-1 in games started by Mahomes. Bills 13-4 in games started by Josh Allen.
He's got some start streak. He's never missed a start.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he also got another loss on his ledger because he started that game. So Patrick Mahomes, who everybody said had a really bad season, finished 15-1 as a starter. Number 1 seed. Didn't have to play in the last game of the year. Josh Allen, who had like the 7th best stats and is God's gift to quarterback play, finished 13-4.
God spent a lot of time on Josh Allen.
Really has.
I mean, what does it tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, I don't know, whatever. I'm not really upset about it. I don't think it was a selfish move. I think it was just one of those, like, I'm going to go and take a knee and start the game, and then we're going to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I want to be there for my team. I don't know. I didn't see it as selfish. Look, I see from your point of perspective, like, anything can go wrong in situations like that where, like, you could step back, take a knee, and some guy takes a cheap shot because he doesn't like you because you're playing a division opponent, and something like that happens.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, even, like, before the game, New England's like, hey, really, what they're gonna do is Josh gonna take a knee, gonna go out the field, got to start, wave to the crowd, whatever. It's his MVP. This is his season. I don't know if he's gonna win the MVP. I don't think he should, but that's about the only award that I really care about right now. Because I think defensive player of the year is Surtain's. According to Vegas, they think that. I think
weird year for that award.
It is
very weird year
because he could go to TJ Watt, he could go to Surtain, he could go to
Tom Ali,
he could go to the dude from Cincinnati. But again, we talked about that team. You can't, and I thought Gold made a good point with Drew this weekend. Like, you can't have the worst defense in the league and then be like, the defensive player of the year is here. It's like, what?
No, come on.
That's right.
It's like, I don't care like, for instance, if Bobby Witt put up the numbers that he put up this year and the Chiefs had the record, or the Royals had the record they had 2 years ago.
You're not the MVP.
Nor should you even have any votes. Because you weren't that valuable to your team, apparently.
No, your team was no good.
Yes.
You're a middle-of-the-road team.
So that's my argument there.
No.
Same thing with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't be the MVP of your team and go 9-8 and not make the playoffs.
No. I mean, I don't understand the Joe Burrow MVP talk. I really don't. But again,
great statistical year, very good year.
If we're doing a fantasy MVP, fine. 100%. You could have Joe Burrow up there,
or
put up great numbers.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, either one of them, but it's
MVP
not fantasy
of the league. It's not a fantasy league. But again,
the National Football League.
But I know you say that and to say it out loud, Tess. But I would guess there's still, I don't know, a good percentage of people who still don't view football that way. And that's why, and sports in general that way, because you made the MVP comparison with Bobby Witt as well. Oh, look at the numbers he puts up. Yeah, but the team didn't win any games. Well, so he put up, but it doesn't matter if you put up good numbers and you don't win. You're paid to win. Lou Ferrigno was not fired as the coach of the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals because they made the playoffs and they did well, and Trey Hendrickson is your defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
He was fired because they were the worst defense in the National Football League, and they didn't make the playoffs. That's what happens in this league. And for like 18 weeks of 17 games, people get lost and think stats are all that matters. And then the end of the year comes and people are complaining that the Chiefs are resting their players. Well, they took care of business in won games. Maybe if you were focused on wins and losses instead of putting up touchdowns and extra points and all that kind of nonsense, maybe you would have won more games too.
No doubt about it. Let's get into our Tough Tuesdays, because it is a Tuesday, even though it doesn't feel like it. It feels like Monday. Again, shout out to all you had to go out there and work. And I think we had a guy earlier on the show. He said something about somebody asked how the roads were in Lee Summit. I said, not that bad. Another guy said, what was his job? Tough job here. He says, I'm out making sure trees don't fall on your power lines. Been out since Sunday.
Oh, God, that job does suck, man.
IBEW 54. Shout out to you, sir.
Shout out union guys, man.
He said it's not that bad as long as it's not windy, which I will say, thankfully it hasn't. Like when I got out of my car this morning to like start it, it wasn't like you walk out the garage and it's like boom across your. I was like, thank God the wind isn't whipping.
Right.
I mean, it's cold, but it could be worse.
But imagine having to go down there and cut down trees because they're hanging on power lines. Because I was telling Jen last night, I was like, look outside, all the trees are iced over too. That's the last thing we now need are branches to be snapped to take out power lines. But those who did work yesterday and got these roads cleared, well done. I was totally impressed with how the roads were this morning. I didn't expect them to see any blacktop for a month, and they were great, man. Well done.
Hats off to you all. I will say I have 3 Tough Tuesdays, and however you want to look at this, Miami as a whole is a tough Tuesday. Look, it was a cool, awesome. They kind of remind me of like the Segway. Like when the Segway first came out, there were some people like, it'll die off. Trust me, this thing's whatever. Or like, you remember those hoverboards that kids were getting over the holidays a couple years ago? That was cool.
I got 2 of them sitting in my basement that are not being used. Yeah.
And where's Miami right now? Sitting in the basement, not being used. Right. But when it first came out, it was like, I want that. That's awesome. They got speed. They got a cool hip coach. He's funny. Tua's, decent. He can be good. He can throw the deep ball, maybe not that accurate. And then now it's like Tyreek Hill's first year he's not in the playoffs. The sky is falling. He wants out. He's comparing him. He's putting his face on Antonio Brown's body when he's leaving the Bucs organization during the Jets. Not a good look. Your head coach is coming back next year, but that seat is hotter than the Eric Hosmer offseason, magma hot, whatever Boris said, that clown.
Right.
That's a tough Tuesday because that team with Waddle, with HN, with Mostert, who they had, who's probably gone now, and they brought in Jonathan Smith, who was good this year. Tyreek Hill was the number 1 player in the NFL according to players' votes. And it was not a good year. Their quarterback was in and out. When he comes back and he's healthy, then his hip's out. And their coach just kind of is like making a mockery of it all. Got to get serious. It's tough for Miami. Tough for Atlanta, man. I think that Atlanta, look, they had Arthur Smith last year, and everybody's like, it's his fault this team's not good. This year, they revamped it. They brought in a new coach. They went and paid $180 million for Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury.
Right.
And then when they really got into nut crunching time, they were like, all right, rookie guy, go out there and do it. And I get it. I understand, like, the Chiefs could have done this, and maybe they go to the Super Bowl. But they didn't. And now look at their franchise. It's set up. Yeah, did it hurt? Was it painful to watch Alex Smith go out there and lose to Tennessee, lose to Pittsburgh in those playoff games? Absolutely. But they knew what they had, and they waited, and it worked out. Now, again, Mahomes is on a level on his own. But again, like, to pay that much money for a quarterback, to then bench him with the final 3 weeks of the season for a rookie and be like, hey, man, we got to win out to make the playoffs. Good luck.
Yeah,
it's not a good look on that team.
It was handled very poorly. Like, they were handling it the right way and allowing Penix. Like, it would have been real easy for Andy Reid in the second half of that Tennessee playoff game to put Patrick Mahomes into that game, right? But he didn't. And that ultimately was the right move. You should have played out the season with Kirk Cousins and then took over next year with Michael Penix Jr. like the Chiefs did. Now, Penix was good, but you put him into a tough situation.
As a rookie, which, again, like, if you put Mahomes in there and they end up losing in a heartbreaking fashion, what does that do for his career if he goes out there and has, 2 interceptions, losing the playoffs, and then takes all the blame? That could mess with the player's psyche. I know it's Mahomes, and he's a different breed, and he's a different quarterback. He's the best we've ever seen, in my opinion. But it just wasn't the way that they did it. Atlanta did it that way. Plus, they have superstars everywhere
on that roster.
And it's like, how does this not make sense? Like, how does this team? And again, like Max said, maybe you put in Michael Penix after like week 5, and it's like, let's see what the kid can do, and then it works out.
But you waited until after
14,
Christmas.
Yeah, week 14 almost, and then it was like, all right, bud, play perfect.
There you go. Get us into the playoffs.
So a tough look at that franchise, and then Sam Darnold's having a tough Tuesday.
Yes,
and
he
I say this lighthearted. I still believe in Sam Darnold. I believe in Kevin O'Connell, but that might have been game 272. That was our first playoff game, guys. It was on the road, and everybody crowned Minnesota when they won that game 2 weeks ago. Just like everybody crowned Green Bay when they shut out the New Orleans Aints at home in those frigid conditions. And everybody's like, Green Bay's tough. And then what happened the very next week?
They lose.
And now everybody's like, Green Bay might be the weakest team in the playoff picture. Jordan Love's injured. Christian Watson's out.
Oh, they're done. Yeah, I don't think Green Bay's getting out of the first round now.
It's tough for them, man. It is tough for them. So, Sam Darnold, a tough Tuesday because this was your first real big test. I know this NFL is a small sample size. It's week by week. A guy can have a couple bad weeks in MLB, come back for the next month and be like, oh, wow. But Sam Darnold, it's a tough Tuesday because now everybody, I think, has that mindset. And I was on with Henry Lake in Minnesota last night. Shout out to Henry. And I was like, I even asked him before I went off the air. I was like, how you feeling? He goes, I got some doubts now.
Well,
and I'm
of
like,
course, Minnesota fans always have doubts.
Because Kevin O'Connell's offense is great, right? And Detroit's defense was, depleted or dissipating on roster-wise.
Yeah.
And
their talent is dissipated in Detroit. There's no question.
And yet they won that game, 31-9?
Yep.
Like, you didn't score any points against that defense?
Nothing. I mean, Sam Darnold was as bad as
it's a tough
you
Tuesday
can
for
possibly
Sammy.
get.
I still believe in Sam, and I believe in the Vikings. I think that's going to be a good game against the Rams. I am going to take the Rams in that game. But again, it's tough because now everybody has that mindset of like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, it's not a good situation for Minnesota to be walking into that game against LA. I have no faith right now in Sam Darnold, so I can't say I go. The Eagles-Packers will be interesting because you got a concussed quarterback in Jalen Hurts, who's still in the concussion protocol, versus a banged up, Green Bay
Tuesday
team.
for Green Bay.
Tough
Yeah.
Tuesday for
Yeah.
Green Bay, but kind of tough for Philadelphia as well. Wondering who's going to play quarterback this weekend.
It'll be Jalen.
It'll be Love.
No, for Philadelphia.
Oh, gotcha.
You
it'll be
got
Hurts.
Hurts still in the protocol, so that'll be interesting to watch that one all week.
I bet he's out by Wednesday.
We'll see. I don't know.
What, 10, 11 days?
Some guys take months to get out of that concussion protocol, too. I mean, is, how long did it take for him to get out of that thing?
I'll take the over on carries for Saquon Barkley against Green Bay.
Yeah, especially if Hurts doesn't play.
Yeah.
Tough Tuesdays for me, the Giants as an organization, because they kept their coach and GM, admitted that they were the problem, which is unbelievable.
That's tough.
But how are you going to fix that problem now? Because your biggest problem is at quarterback. There's not a quarterback in the draft, and I don't know if there's one that's going to be out there in free agency. You're going to have to get very creative if you're the owner of the Giants and you want to set your GM and your head coach up for success, where in a year you're not getting ready to fire them, because you've got to find a quarterback. Until you find a quarterback, you're not setting those guys up to have success. Jacksonville fans, for me, what is that? Like, is that organization even worth being in the NFL? Like, the quarterback has gotten progressively worse. They have head coach after head coach after head coach. They've got an owner down there who nobody ever hears from. What kind of leader is he? They're focused more like the Jags whole thing. Like, if that franchise just went away, I don't think anybody would even notice that the Jags went away. So that fan base is having a tough Tuesday. And then the other one for me is Antonio Pierce, because he's talking like he's coming back, but he doesn't know whether or not he's coming back. If you haven't fired your coach by Monday after the season and you're letting that guy just kind of hang out there and do all that kind of
Does
stuff.
Mark Davis know the season's over?
He may not.
I'm wondering if he even knows that we're done.
He may not. He may not. But that's a bad look for what's going on out there. You're either going to keep a guy or you're not. Don't leave somebody in limbo at this time of the year, because they want to get on with their life as well.
I wonder if Vegas can pay another coach.
But that's the other thing. I don't know that they have the money to be able to do that.
Would they go 4-14 or 4-13? 4-13?
I think so.
Ugh. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go get Cousins, or they're going to go get Littlefinger, and that's who's going to be their quarterback. That's going to save their franchise. Because they got talented players at key positions.
Carson Wentz?
Oof. I don't know if that guy's ever going to be a starter.
I got to be honest with you. Of all people this weekend, nobody hurt their value more than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's true.
He was making a lot of money not playing. He played and went, ooh.
Yeah. Coming back on the other side, we'll talk about the playoff matchups that are. We'll give you the lines of those games according to DraftKings, and we'll see what matchups we like best in both divisions, NFC, AFC. It's Bob Fescoe, Mac Morey, Dusty Likens on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home, Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
I just want to say how awesome it is to have Bob Fescoe and Legend Likens on every morning to start my day. I freaking love you guys.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5. The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've probably been cooped up in the house since about Saturday, right? And you're looking for something to do to get outside, to give the kiddos some ways to burn off that energy. How about foaling? It is awesome. If you haven't been foaling yet, now is the time to make a reservation. In fact, we're going on Friday night, going with my wife and some of her friends for her birthday. FoalingKC.com is where you can reserve a lane for foaling. It's football plus bowling plus bar, and that's Foaling Warehouse, Kansas City. And it is perfect for adults. It is perfect for date night. It's perfect for those kiddos. It's perfect for friends and family when they come into town. It's perfect for everyone. Guys' night out, office party, whatever it is, Foaling has got you covered. And it's a great place to go right now because I know those kiddos have been cooped up. They're looking for something fun to do, so take them Foaling. They're located at 435 in State Line. And parents, they've got a world-class bar as well. They can mix up any cocktail. They've got great beer selections, and you can bring your own food, cater your own event at Foaling. So reserve a lane at FoalingKC.com. Foaling is a mashup of football, bowling, and bar, and that's Foaling Warehouse, Kansas City. FoalingKC.com, and get your foal on.
Your skin tells a story. At KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, we understand that stress, time, and life can leave their mark, but it's never too late to refresh, renew, and restore your skin. With 25 expert providers across multiple locations, we make glowing skin easy. Same week appointments? Absolutely. Select Saturday appointments available? You got it. From medical dermatology to advanced aesthetic treatments, we're here to help you look and feel your best. Schedule your appointment today at kmcpa.com. KMC Dermatology and Med Spa. Beyond the surface.
Buying and selling a home is stressful. You want the best team on your side, and that's my friend Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. To find the current value of your home, go to homesforsaleandkc.com. Click on the button, How Much Is Your Home Really Worth? Then the Sharp Homes team can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses, you can do that with their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp. Google Sharp Homes team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then. 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Get ready for fun in the sun with screaming deals at the KC Boat and Fishing Show. January 9th through 12th at Bartle Hall with kids free admission. Take advantage of 4 days of special show pricing on hundreds of boats plus non-stop entertainment. Go to kcmoboatshow.com for more info.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by the KC Boat and Fishing Show. January 9th through 12th at Bartle Hall.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this. Mike's got this
Brought to you by Jay's Southland Tow Service. Heading out of downtown, 35 northbound, a bit slow from Front Street up towards Bedford Road with an accident reporting blocking the right lane. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident, call Jay's Southland Tow Service 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all, so be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Best time of the year in the NFL world. The playoff picture is set. The playoff run begins. The road to the three-peat for the Kansas City Chiefs fully engaged. I always think of Patrick Mahomes as Jon Snow in a Battle of the Bastards episode where the sword comes out and everybody's coming after him. That, to me, is what Patrick Mahomes reminds me of every time of the series of the playoffs begin, because everybody's coming at who they know is the promised one to lead everybody to the promised land.
And
that is
he's
Patrick
the
Mahomes.
best man to have everybody coming after, right? Like, if you feel good about guarding your castle, Patrick Mahomes is the guy you want out there. And that's why I go back. When people want to debate the MVP, who are you picking to lead your team into the postseason? There are 14 teams left. 13 of them want Patrick Mahomes. One has Patrick Mahomes.
We just got to get through today and tomorrow, and then the sports world is absolutely on fire and nuts. Obviously, we'll get into the NFL playoff schedule before we do that. Thursday, January 9th, Notre Dame, Penn State. They play at 6:30.
Yes.
Notre Dame, a 2.5-point favorite in that game. And then Friday, you get Ohio State, Texas at 6:30. Obviously, Saturday, then the NFL picture takes in full force. Saturday's games, you start off at 3:30 with the Chargers at the Houston Texans. Right now, the Chargers hold a 2.5-point game.
That one right there is the best matchup of the playoffs for one reason and one reason only. The Houston Texans have been to the postseason 8 times. Okay, in their lifestyle or lifeline, whatever you want to call it.
That's my lifestyle.
Right, lifestyles.
Get
yourself
my
some
lifestyle.
So in their lifeline, their life, however long it's been that they've been around, they've been to the playoffs 8 times.
Yikes.
Guess how many times that the Houston Texans have played the first playoff game on Saturday afternoon?
Once.
All of them.
Every time,
single
yeah.
playoff game has been the first wave of playoff games, the first one to lead it off. Basically, they have told us nobody cares about the Houston Texans. You're always going to be in that 3:30 Saturday playoff spot.
Because they won last year, then lost to the Ravens in the next round. When they played the Chiefs, they beat Buffalo, and then they came and lost to the Chiefs. Either way.
So the Chiefs won that first playoff game down there on that Saturday afternoon game.
31-0,
People
right?
forget about that game like it never happened, but that was the first one that kind of got us off that schneid a little bit, you know?
Shout out to Niall Davis, I believe, is who took that.
That's right.
back,
Yeah.
Yes.
Took it back. Yep.
Some breaking news in the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers have made a change. You ready for this one? They fired their special teams coordinator.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Really?
I had to do it.
Oh, no. Who was that?
I don't know. Somebody. Never heard of him.
You fired your special teams coach. After this season of disaster, we're going to get rid of our special teams coach.
Didn't quite use Debo the way you should have. But no, the Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite on the road. I like Chargers minus 2.5 in this game.
Smash it.
I really do like that. We'll see what Herbert can do in the playoffs. Again, here we go. JH, man, you want to be in that top 5 category, go take care of business. 2.5-point favorites on the road at Houston.
What if he goes down there and loses? What are we saying about Justin Herbert on,
Then we got
on
a
Monday
big
morning?
conversation on Monday morning.
Right?
We have a big conversation.
I mean, you're playing Houston. Like that, I understand.
Houston is limping into the playoffs.
They're very much limping into the playoffs right now. Like this could be, I hate to use the word a statement game. It's the playoffs. You go and you win a game. But Justin Herbert has nothing on his resume. Like you hold up Justin Herbert's resume and it looks like this. It is a blank space, baby. And his name isn't even on that thing. So, like, he's got nothing on his resume. He's got to shake off the bad resume right now, right? Like, he has, I think Justin Herbert, more so than maybe, Patrick Mahomes with the three-peat out there right now, has an opportunity to really change the way that people view him as a quarterback in this league, because he's never won a big game, barely been over 500. He's been a very mid quarterback, in my opinion, hasn't done what you need to do in the postseason, blew a 35-point lead or whatever it was. So you have an opportunity now to go to Houston and not just win a game, but make a statement, because I don't think Houston is a good team. Go out there and win by double digits, and people say it's the playoffs, games are going to be close. This first round of the playoffs since the expansion to 14 teams has not been that close. There's been some close games, but there's been a lot of blowouts as well. And so I think the Chargers, man, you have an opportunity to go blow out the Houston Texans. Go do that on Saturday.
I mean, I would say the Chargers are on house money. And you have a coach that is turning that franchise around in 1 year. And in the past, you had a coach get that team to the playoffs, and they blew a lead against Trevor Lawrence, who threw 4 interceptions in the first half, still couldn't win. The next game moving on that Saturday is the 7 o'clock game, Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
I mean, it's a perfect game in the perfect time.
Baltimore is a 9.5-point favorite. Of course, these lines are all via DraftKings. Baltimore carries a 9.5-point favorite against Pitt. You say smash the Chargers line. Do you smash 9.5? Do you think they can beat this Pittsburgh team by 10? This is, again, you talk about Justin Herbert, and you talk about the playoffs, you talk about winning the right game. As much as we love Lamar Jackson,
it's time for him too.
Pittsburgh in the regular season, 1-1. And when he finally beat Pittsburgh in the regular season, everybody's like, all right, that's the monkey off the pack. We have proof that he can win a divisional game against Pittsburgh. Now you amplify that up. Now you have a home playoff game against a divisional team who looks depleted, and now you got to go in there and you got a 9.5-point spread on your back.
Yeah, you got two teams playing what are two depleted teams, right? Like I think ultimately when you look at the Steelers and the Texans,
would you rather play the Texans or Steelers?
I would rather play the Texans at this point in time.
Yes.
I think the Chargers have a better matchup than the Ravens do, just because it's a divisional foe. It's Mike Tomlin. It's still
Mike Tomlin, exactly.
You still have to think that Mike Tomlin, he's been really good against Lamar and whatnot over the course of his career. So if I were the Ravens right now, I'd rather be playing anybody but the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think it's going to be a close game. I love the fact that it's the Saturday night game. I love the fact that it's two teams that have huge fan bases that they're foisting Amazon on for people to, like they did with us last year with the Peacock game, right? Like, so we're foisting this game on to Amazon. If you don't have Amazon, you got to subscribe to watch it. I like that somebody else is the guinea pig on this one this time around. I'm still taking the Ravens in this one, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I could be completely wrong,
but
I think it's going to be
in the points.
Yeah,
I agree.
The points.
Move it up to 10.
You move on to the next day, Sunday. Start right off at noon on January 12th on Sunday. Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo holds a 8.5-point lead or favorite over Denver at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Buffalo in this one, even though I want Denver to win this game more than anything. I think it'd be fantastic, right? But I don't think that is going to happen. I think the fun runs out for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, but they can be proud of what they did this season getting into the playoffs, right? Being one of 3 teams in the AFC West to make it into the postseason. But they're going in for a tough task, man. Rookie Bo Nix going against a veteran Josh Allen on the road. I don't know. This could be a blowout, this one.
You move on. You get Green Bay at Philadelphia. Philadelphia getting 4.5 points against Green Bay, who Jordan Love hurt his elbow. Justin Watson obviously is
done for the year.
Watson,
yes! Not Justin Watson. I know,
Christian Watson.
Yeah.
He's, he looks like he's done. He left on the car. It was in the blue tent, looked depleted when he was getting carried off.
He's done. They're saying he may not need to play next year.
ACL, the Philadelphia Eagles, 4.5-point line over the Green Bay Packers in that one. That's the 3:30 game on Sunday.
If you're a betting person, right, don't you want to pound the Eagles right now before, potentially the spread changes if Jalen Hurts comes back?
I mean, it depends. Yeah,
because if Jalen Hurts comes back, don't you think that spread's going to just increase to another 2 points or 3 points?
It might move a half, maybe. I mean, it might go to 5, maybe 5.5.
Are they coming out with this spread with the assumption that Jalen Hurts is playing on Sunday?
I would think so.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay. And then is the Jordan Love thing not a factor? I guess not. Probably not. Probably assume he's playing too.
Because when he first got injured, I thought it was something with his hand, like he hit a helmet, but it was his elbow, and that thing tingled down. And
you hit your funny bone before. Hell yeah, it hurts.
Where those 2 fingers go, it's like they got a fizz in them.
He's questionable return.
He's tired.
He's not coming back to this game.
No. The last game on Sunday is Washington at Tampa Bay. I mean, it's whatever.
A good game.
It could be. Rookie quarterback against proven quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and the Bucks hold a 3-point spread on that one. That's about as even as it gets.
You're not as excited about this game.
Nah. I'm not.
Neither are you, really?
Nothing excites
Wow.
me about the Washington football team.
Highest
Literally
over-under.
nothing.
Yeah, 50
Highest
and a half.
over under in the playoffs.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
And then Monday night, the big one, Minnesota at the Rams, and the Rams are a 1.5-point underdogs at home with McVay and Stafford.
This is a great game for storylines because KOC was there with McVay, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they boys?
Yes, they're
right?
boys.
Okay, you've got Matthew Stafford,
That's
who's
true.
still looking at a little bit, add more to his resume. Sam Darnold's got a lot to go out there and prove. This has an opportunity to be one of the better games of the wild card weekend, but I'm going with the Rams in this one. I've got to go with the team that's at home that is not coming off a performance that we all saw. If Minnesota, again, made that performance at noon on Sunday, not a lot of people are talking about that. That was the prime time first playoff game, and they laid a total egg in that one. So it's hard for me to say I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to go with Sean McVay and the Rams on that one.
What's your number one game you're ready for?
The number one game, Steelers-Ravens for me. Then Broncos-Bills comes in at number 2, and then Vikings-Rams probably come in at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Eagles-Packers. I don't know. I think that one's got a lot of potential to be awesome.
Could be.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of potential to be a really bad game,
Yeah,
too,
if
with
the
the
quarterbacks
quarterback
don't play.
situation.
Mine, I've got to wait till Monday because I'm just intrigued about the Rams in Minnesota.
That's fair, man. That's fair.
It's
going to be a good game.
Should be a solid game.
Awesome. Should be a really good game. No doubt. And then you look at, the buys with the Lions and the Chiefs. Obviously, you think the Lions will lose any defensive players this week?
I hope not. I hope they all just go into a bubble.
I mean, seriously, if you're the Lions on defense this week, nobody leave the house.
Everybody just stay put.
Right.
And so, if we give those matchups and talk about them, it sounds like the Chiefs and Chargers in 2 weeks. Yep. Gear up, Arrowhead.
What if Denver does win that game and they're rolling in here in a week?
and they show the Chiefs their entire offensive playbook in a meaningless Week 18 game?
Yeah,
Love
right.
to see it.
Yeah.
Coming up on the other side, about 10 minutes, Dayton Hughes will join us, and there's one Chiefs player that is giving me, Dusty Likens, a little bit of nerves. Maybe you guys can all talk me out of it. Bob Mack, 913-586-7965. We'll do that on the other side on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your home for Kansas City Sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, we are starting off a new year, and how would you like to clear out some of that holiday debt? How would you like to not make a mortgage payment for the next 60 days? Does all of that sound good to you? Or maybe you just got some financial stuff you need to figure out. Maybe there's some credit card debt, or maybe you had some home repairs. Maybe you just got done paying for a wedding, or college tuition's coming due, and you're thinking, man, I need a couple of months, or I don't have to make that mortgage payment. My friends over at Golden Oak Lending can help you out. Get started with Golden Oak Lending's free mortgage checkup. And I stress this for everybody, whether you're in a great mortgage or you're in a mortgage that you think, hey, I need some help with, or maybe you just want to explore your options out there. Take the free mortgage checkup from my friends over at Golden Oak Lending. We do this about twice a year. They'll call us because we're already a customer and say, hey, rates have dropped. Let's see if we can get you in a better mortgage than what you're currently in. And you tell them about your financial goals, where you want to go in life, what you want to accomplish, and Golden Oak will try to find a plan that works for you. If they have one, great. If they don't, they'll let you know that as well. They're never going to put you in a loan that doesn't make sense for you. It's all risk-free. There's no paperwork or credit card required. Just call and have that conversation. 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD. And let Golden Oak Lending cure your blues.
Men, the new year is here. And if you're like many of us, you're going to make a resolution to improve your health. But if you're feeling sluggish and low energy, if your sleep patterns are off, if you've been working out and aren't seeing the gains you used to see, making that resolution may not be so easy. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling the way I just described, we can likely help you with that resolution, because those symptoms probably mean you're suffering with low testosterone. And at Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating this condition. With our low T protocols, if you're like most men, the change will astound you. You'll feel more energy and better mental clarity, your sleep will improve, your workouts will be better, and you'll likely find your sex drive goes up as well. So call us today and get treated for your low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Jay's Southland Tow Service. Heading out of downtown, 35 northbound, a bit slow from Front Street up towards Bedford Road with an accident reporting blocking the right lane. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident, call Jay's Southland Tow Service 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all, so be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Diving right back into it on a Tuesday. The sun's starting to come up. Surprise, snow is still everywhere, all over the ground. Will be
you
for the
acted
next
surprised
month.
Earlier when I said I'm going to go look at the sunrise. You're like, yeah, snow's still everywhere. Yeah.
Captain Obvious.
Yep. Like I said, I think when the Super Bowl celebration happens, I use that term because there are some questions as to what the celebration is going to look like this year.
Right.
I still think there's going to be snow on the ground from this snow because it ain't going to get warm enough to melt this stuff. Oof. And we got a foot, man. I don't think it's going to dissipate out there for a long time when it comes to just melting away, man.
Speaking of a foot, can we have an honest conversation?
Yes.
On a scale of confidence of 1 to 100, going into the playoffs, where's your confidence in Harrison Butker right now? Now, he merits to have...
So
100%.
35 on Thursday. I'm trying to avoid the question. 35 on Thursday, we make it above... I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah. I
don't think this is hyperbolical. I don't think this is like, oh, we're freaking out. Like,
no.
Let's think about how important Harrison Butker is on this team, right? Mahomes knows he has to get to the 40 every time, and they got a chance.
And they got a chance.
I don't know if they have that right now. From what I've seen the last couple of weeks, I know he's been banged up, and rest is going to be super key for Harrison Butker. But again, like back-to-back weeks where I get it in the Cleveland game when they rushed that and it was a missed field goal. It was like maybe that's a little bit on Reed and the time management. But this weekend, again, there was an opportunity for a kick in Denver.
Yep.
and it was pulled.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like it doinked. It wasn't like he, was short. It was pulled, and it's like he came back, that knee injury, that plant knee.
Hit that first one that looked a little like skittish, barely made it through, and I don't know that he's kicked one through since. Like, it's been,
I mean, he's piped a couple, but it's just like, normally when Butker went out there, you're like, 55 yards, he's got this.
Right.
Right now, it's like, does he?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad everybody else is kind of that way. Like, I saw a little bit of the reaction on X, formerly Twitter, the other day, during the game, people a little concerned with Butker, and I'm like, is that people but then you start to think back a little bit, and every time he plants with that left leg, it kind of buckles a little bit, right? Like, it's not like he's getting that oomph down that he needs to get to be able to, not that I'm some kicking guru or anything like that, but it just looks a little odd. It looks a little off right now. And for a guy that has been such a vital reason as to why we're able to go for a three-peat here, yeah, because it is concerning. A guy that you didn't have to have concern about, now all of a sudden, I think a lot of us are a little bit concerned about Harrison Butker. And you know what? That's okay. You're taking the body of work that we're seeing currently, and you're saying, boy, the last 8 to 12 quarters roughly, haven't looked great for Harrison Butker. But you know what? 2 weeks off, the ability to get fresher and fresher and fresher. I'm sure if I asked somebody inside the organization, they would say no, they don't have any concerns about Harrison Butker. But I think from a fan standpoint, I think it's fair to say, are we all right here?
And I'm just reading what I've been watching the last couple of weeks. And again, I know he's coming off the injury, the left leg, and maybe now the rest at the end of that Denver game, the rest in this week that you get off, and then you have the week that you come back and play the divisional round. He'll be fine. He'll be at home. Everything's back to normal. And again, it's not like I'm worried about Patrick Mahomes having to get 10 to 15 extra more yards. It's just that, like, you go back to the 13-second game. Butker makes that field goal in clutch time from distance. You go to the Cincinnati game. He makes that kick from distance. Super Bowl games. Last year, it was the Niners kicker who missed the extra point, cost them a huge point in that game. It was their kicker. It's not really been the Chiefs' kicker the last couple of years. The last couple of games, there's been a little bit of like, boy, I hope he gets that figured out.
But you know what happens, too, is as we've seen in sports over the years, the end comes fast. And I'm not saying the end is here, but the end comes fast for athletes. It never comes when you're expecting it. There's never that kind of gradual decline. It just hits you, on an idle Tuesday. And I think for Harrison Butker right
29
now,
years old.
Yeah, well, that's about the shelf life of an athlete gets you to about 30. But we're looking at it right now and going from a guy that we had zero concern with. Now all of a sudden we're going, I wonder if there is a little bit of concern. I don't know, man. We'll ask Danon Hughes that when he joins us here momentarily.
Speaking of, let's get to Mr. Spit Hot Fire.
You hear him on game days in the booth.
Quickly, they get chunky and funky with stretching the fields vertically.
And Thursday nights at 6 during Players Only.
Spitfire, hot fire take.
Here's Chiefs Radio Network color analyst Danon Hughes on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. It is Tuesday, 7:25 on the dot. Danon Hughes brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefits of blue. It is definitely white and purple outside. Danon, did you stay safe, stay warm when you got back from Denver, sir?
Yeah, man. Good morning, fellas. It's good to be back. Hopefully everybody out there has been safe. It's been kind of a crazy week, and I'm glad we got back safely yesterday afternoon after spending an extra day in Denver.
Worst places to be. Yeah. You could have been stuck in Cincinnati or St. Louis.
I know, right? Yeah.
So consider you're stuck in Denver. Not a bad place to be. Think about if you were looking at the arch going, I'm stuck in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So are you concerned about Are you concerned about Butker, or is that just kind of, us going,
Yeah, I'm not concerned about Harrison Butker. I feel like his resume has spoken for itself, and I heard what you guys were saying leading in, and I get it. It does come fast, and there are times where you recognize a guy is like, oh, wow, that, the gas tank is empty, and it seemed like it was just full a few days ago. I don't feel like that's the case with Harrison Butker. I just feel like, until that time comes, and I've been around for a while, and obviously, during the Lynn Elliott days and the years that I played where the kicking was questionable, I don't feel like that's the case right now. I feel like this team is going to be well rested. It's tough when you are a kicker, even though, you're preparing and you're not a backup and You're not declared inactive in a insignificant game. It's tough to just stand on the sideline for basically the entire half with your offense not really doing anything that's going to warrant you being able to get action on the field and then come onto the field and kick a long field goal. I'm not saying we should have lower expectations because he set the bar so high. I just feel like he's still got some gas left in his tank, and he'll come through in the clutch.
Yeah, I don't necessarily look at it as like he's running out of like youth. And I know you love golf too, Dane, and I look at it from the Tiger Woods perspective because one thing that kind of was like the downfall of his career was all that pressure that he would put on his front left knee when he would hit his drive, and eventually that, the older you get, your body's like, hey, we ain't doing that anymore, man. And that then led to like other injuries, and it's a different sort of aspect, but it's also when it comes to what is that?
That's my computer.
And also, when it comes to it, it's like you think about Harrison Butker, and from what I found out just by being a nerd and diving into the season, is that when he does go to kick, he puts a lot of pressure, like Tiger Woods would, on that plant leg, and then that's where he drives his power through. And that's the knee that's injured. We're into the playoffs. Temperatures are colder. That's where the worrisome is for me, is that like he might have to find a new way to, it might not be the 335-yard drive that solidifies your game. Now it might be the mid-irons or the wedges, and maybe now the 55, 56-yard field goals that you were so confident in may not always be there for Harrison Butker.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's going to be a time where Patrick Mahomes is not going to be able to throw the ball 60 yards in the air.
Stop it. That never will happen.
Dane, come on now. And we all had snow. We're a little delirious. You spent some extra time in Denver.
But I mean, let's face it. That's what happens. When you look at Harrison Butker, he has a little bit unorthodox approach where he collapses that front side and he kicks through the ball, and it's worked for him. It's not something new. I think people had paid attention to it because he missed a couple of kicks, and they thought, oh, this left knee thing is an issue. When if you look back last year, you look back in the past, he has collapsed that front side more times than not, especially on deep kicks. It's worked for him. The guy is in incredible shape. I just don't feel like it's an issue right now. Now, if we get to the divisional round and he does miss a kick here or there, hopefully it doesn't impact the game, then maybe we could start talking about it. But I just don't think that it's as an issue right now.
No, and we'll see, and hopefully it doesn't become an issue, and as like you said, the couple of weeks of rest will get him back to feeling good. And look, that's the benefit that the Chiefs have for taking care of business in the regular season. Dane, and when did we, I don't even want to say we, the collective, fandom of the world, think that it's somebody else's responsibility to get our team into the playoffs like these Bengal nitwits are doing. Like, they're stupid, dumb fans, really dumb fans to think that the Chiefs really gave a rip about them being in the postseason or not. The Chiefs took care of business so they could have a Sunday like they did against Denver.
Exactly. Now, no one expected them to get shut out. No one expected, I don't think very many people expected us to win with the backups, especially, let's consider we're playing up against a playoff team. Like, this is a playoff team with a top defense. It would have been tough to beat them. It was tough back in November when we played them at home. So it would have been tough for us to beat them with our regular starters. Not saying that they're a better football team. I'm saying it would have been tough. Now, to go into the game with a bunch of backups, especially at the offensive line position, it was going to be an uphill battle. With that being said, the Bengals and the Bengals fans, they should have had their hefty bags ready right after their game against the Steelers. Like, they had to have a feeling like that was not going to happen for them. All the moving pieces that were necessary was not going to happen, and it's not our responsibility. The fan base is just desperate. They are desperate. We are, we are. What do you call it? The guys that they just constantly are looking over their shoulders. We're like the big brothers to the Bengals, and they can't beat us. They can't be where we are. They can't have the consistency that we have. They can't play with the consistency that we have shown. We've taken all the bullets from everybody every single week. When you consider when the schedules are made, we get the toughest schedule. We've gotten it, if not the toughest, the top three in toughest schedules over the last half a decade, and we've weathered the storm every single season. This year, just 2 losses. I want to say it's like 1.5 losses.
Well,
yeah.
Here's how I'm putting it, Dayton, okay? The Chiefs are 15-1 when Patrick Mahomes starts.
Yeah, there you go.
Buffalo's 13-4 when Josh Allen starts. The Bengals are 9-8 when Joe Burrow starts.
Yep, I agree. And it's tough to win in the NFL, but it's even tougher when you are a 2-time defending Super Bowl champ and you know you're going to get the best from every single team that comes in to play. And then even when you add in the AFC West, which I want to say, if my memory serves correct, the beginning of the season or even in the off season, people were thinking that the AFC West was going to be a joke. And that this rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, he's not going to live up to anything. And Harbaugh, he'll probably get things changed around with the Chargers, but maybe not this quickly this year. And then all of a sudden now we got 3 teams in the playoffs, and I feel like we're the best division in the AFC. Maybe you can argue the second best division in all of the NFL when you consider what the NFC North has been this year. Having said that, the Chiefs were still at the top, and we're still at the top right now. And we played an entire season to get to a point where after a Week 6 bye and playing 3 games in 11 days, we played the entire season, as you mentioned, 15-1 with Patrick Mahomes to garner 2 byes, the last week of the season and the first week of the playoffs.
That's right.
And that's what you look for as a player, and it's unfortunate that the Bengals couldn't beat the Patriots at home in Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
They had a strong December, I give it to them, and early January, 5 straight wins, but you only won 4 games in September, October, November. 4 games in those 3 months. That's the problem that you should be facing, and not worrying about why the Chiefs sat their starters and what you want to complain about the integrity of the game and blah, 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 when we were 15-1. Suck it up, go get your pacifiers, and hope for the best throughout the offseason.
No doubt. Talking to Dayton Hughes, the color commentator for the Chiefs Radio Network. You can hear all their games here on 96.5 The Fan. Dayton, I want to bring this up because the possibilities that do arise if Houston does lose to the Chargers and Buffalo takes care of business against the Broncos, you welcome in those Chargers to Arrowhead. I have to ask you this question. Who do you want to play in the second round, Chargers or the Broncos?
Or the Steelers. Let's go for a Pittsburgh upset.
Yeah. I don't know if, that's a tough one. I don't know if there's someone I prefer to play, especially from our division. I just feel like there's an extra comfort for any team to play against a divisional opponent and have to play them a third time. Maybe if I had to choose, maybe the Broncos I would like to play just because I feel like maybe they'll be, feeling themselves a little bit just because they just beat us and shut us out in the fashion that they did. And that might give them a little bit of extra boost coming into Arrowhead Stadium. But I played in '97 when we had to play the Broncos a third time, and we lost in the playoffs. So I guess I got still some scar tissue from that and playing a divisional opponent, not just the Broncos, but a divisional opponent in the playoffs, because I feel like some of that home field advantage is nullified just a bit because there's a comfort level. And that's what people are talking about now with the Pittsburgh Steelers having to play the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, the Ravens are a better football team, but the Steelers have had their number, especially with Lamar Jackson. Yep. And there's got to be some concern with that fan base, especially if you think about Lamar Jackson being ousted out of the playoffs early again during an MVP campaign. So that's when it gets a little tricky. So, I'm looking forward to sitting on my couch, watching these games this week, and seeing everybody else battle it out. And who knows how the injuries will factor in, and who's going to come to GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium the following week. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun to sit back and watch. And again, that's the beauty of taking care of that business during the regular season, so you have the opportunity to do that. I guarantee you Baltimore with the Zay Flowers injury they're showing on TV right now, I bet you they wish they had a week off. Or, the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love and the Eagles, even with Jalen Hurts and all these teams that don't have that first-round bye, which is everybody except the the Chiefs and Lions, they're all probably looking back going, damn, I wish we would have taken care of business so we get that opportunity to sit out. And it's not just an opportunity to not play. It's an opportunity to not get guys hurt. It's an opportunity for your coaches to take a break too and not have to. Imagine having a game plan for a playoff game after playing that game in Denver, getting stuck in Denver, not getting home till yesterday afternoon, and having to have a playoff game preparation underway. So, like, you do these things, you take care of business, you go to St. Joe, you bust your ass, you sweat your balls off, so when this time of the year rolls around, you can take a deep breath.
Yeah, and that's the key. And as I mentioned earlier, like, when the schedules come out in May, players, the first thing they look at is when is our bye week, because they know of the gauntlet that you have to go through from off-season and OTA, training camp, preseason games, regular season games. You know that there's a gauntlet. And I even said in the early part of the season, like, because the bye week was in week 6, I think I calculated it at 18 straight weeks. If we did not get the bye, we would have had to play 18 straight weeks of football to get to the Super Bowl. And think about, like, that's a full season without a bye.
Yeah.
So, like, it is coveted for a reason, and the Chiefs handled their business, and unfortunately for other fan bases, your teams did not. And that's unfortunate for y'all, but I'm relishing this opportunity. I love the fact that, for myself, having a week off and being able to relax and watch football and be able to enjoy watching football instead of preparing for a game or watching a game while I'm looking through my notes coming up for the broadcast. So, yeah, this is definitely warranted. It's definitely earned. And, again, I think there's a slight to the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's not a slight against the Detroit Lions or any other teams that people think are better than us, but the Chiefs, two-time defending Super Bowl champs, getting the toughest schedules and weathering that storm to the point of being a number 1 seed. Next year, the schedule came out in regards to who we're playing, the opponents, not necessarily the actual schedule, and we will play 10 games against playoff teams from this year. I saw they were making a big note about the Philadelphia Eagles. NFL on CBS said the Philadelphia Eagles will play 10 teams that were in the playoffs this year. Well, so will the Chiefs. I had to put it out there again. The Chiefs will again play that same kind of gauntlet. And, guess what? They'll play the Chargers and the Broncos twice, which means that we'll play that's extra that we'll have to play because we got 2 teams in our division. So let's make no mistake about it. The Chiefs always fight uphill, and yet we still come out on top, and it's great to be a part of.
No doubt about it, Daniel. We'll get those lozenges ready, rest that throat. Like other guys will take ice baths, just take that nice, cool menthol bath on that throat so you're ready to spit that hot fire when it comes to the divisional round next weekend, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and we appreciate the time, sir.
I was going to go dive out into the snow like those kids.
Did you see me dive out into the snow?
I didn't see it, man.
I'll send you the picture. I'll send you the video. Oh, yeah, I did
it. Classic.
Take care, Danon.
All right, fellas.
Danon Hughes there, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefits of blue. Coming up on the other side, the Royals made a signing this week, and I'll tell you why it is significant, whether you want to believe it or not. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, here we are, the start of the new year, and maybe after yesterday, you're thinking to yourself, man, I've got some shoulder pain, back pain from all of this shoveling. Oh, my elbow hurts. Well, you know what? The pain calls from chronic joint pain day after day is not normal, but some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it's become your new normal. Short-term fixes aren't working, so make the decision now to say no to not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and are living their life again without that constant pain in their joints. If you want to learn more about how you can refresh your your joints, get lasting relief with his amazing treatments, then call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Deal with joint pain now so you can make the most of the new year. Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Alex to let you know that if you're looking for that new career, Centric is the place you want to go. Look, you've been sitting around in a job you don't like anymore, and you want to try something new. I get it. Who wouldn't want a job with better pay, better career advancement, and better opportunities?
So if you've been thinking of a new career, the new year is a great time to start. Classes start in the middle of January at Centric. Contact our friend Russ. Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Show up early, cash out quarterly. First 100 fans to show up for the big game on Sunday get a free square for the chance to win a Twin Peaks gift card at the end of each quarter. Plus, every fan scores free fried pickles just for showing up.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Staples.
I am so pumped. My business is going to kill it this year.
Awesome. How can I help?
First, a new computer.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you save big on tech.
And new posters.
Save on custom printing, too.
And,
a new chair?
A chair? Who has time to sit?
Maybe all your new clients?
Now you're talking.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you'll find huge savings on custom prints, storage, chairs, and tech. And now save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. The new year is here. Home values are up, and you have more home equity than ever. Now is the time to put that home equity to work for you. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Credit card balances are at an all-time high. Why pay 25 to 30% interest to them when you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call? Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. We have no fee to apply and no out-of-pocket cost. And if you call today, you could make no payments for 2 months. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Imagine how good it will feel to have those bills paid off. At Golden Oak Lending, we can make that happen in as little as 14 days. And if for any reason your loan doesn't close, we will pay for your appraisal. Call today and take advantage of our 5.25 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Jay's Southland Tow Service. Heading out of downtown, 35 northbound, a bit slow from Front Street up towards Bedford Road with an accident reporting blocking the right lane. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident, call Jay's Southland Tow Service 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all, so be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Diving back into it. First 2 hours going quickly here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. Stay safe out there.
Looks like a lot of people are taking another day, which makes a lot of sense with schools being closed. But the roads were great this morning. Again, we've sung the praises of the plow, guys and gals, all morning long because...
And again, we're saying great considering the fact that we got a foot of snow.
Yeah.
2 days later, you could drive.
I honest to God, when I drove this morning, I picked up Mac today because he wasn't going to make it if I didn't. And I said, all right, I'm going to leave the house probably around 4. I just don't know what time.
We don't know.
No delay getting here at all today. There was none whatsoever. Now, again, that was 4 o'clock in the morning. But, man, when I got on the roads and I saw the blacktop, I'm like, these guys were awesome. So if you're part of the snowplow crew or have done any work in roads or parking lots or anything clear for us to get our carcasses out of the house, you did an unbelievable job, man. Way to go to all of the folks. I'm looking at, Shawnee Mission Parkway and Metcalf right now. He's blacktop, man. Like, unbelievable because everybody stayed home yesterday. Let the road crews take care of everything. And now here we are with the ability to get out. Hopefully school gets back into session tomorrow so the kiddos can get the hell out of the house and back and everybody can kind of get on with their days. But I am totally impressed with the way that the roads were this morning. Stunningly good this morning.
This poor little squirrel's nest still is mounded with snow over the top. Those poor little suckers.
Yeah, hopefully they're warm. I hate squirrels. If I had a BB gun, I'd blast them all.
Okay. Wow. He's an angry elf.
You ever pay $1,000 to capture a squirrel in the soffit of your house? Yeah, squirrels can suck it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, just
I
the
believe
worst
that.
vermin. But I'll tell you, the dog keeps them away for the most part.
I was gonna say you got a pretty impressive dog that keeps those squirrels probably 15 yards away.
Oh yeah, she sits in the window and watches. If one gets near, she barks.
I dare one of those things to get in this yard. So over the weekend, or I guess basically yesterday, the Royals re-signed or getting to an agreement with Michael Lorenzen. I know a lot of people say, oh, that's not the guy that we wanted to see in the offseason. That's not the name that splashes the pond the biggest. But, look, Lorenzen was a guy you got last year who was maybe like a patch artist. Like he could go pitch, you could do your opener. He could be your fifth starter if somebody needed a break. He could be a bullpen
he could do
arm.
anything you needed him.
The guy's got the same size biceps as Priest Holmes had in the early 2000s. It's insane. But I think this is an important sign because I think what this team built last year was not only more talent on their roster, but a chemistry that stuck together from game 1 to game 179, whatever they ended up playing throughout the entire year. I know there's 162 in the regular season, but come on, bear with me.
Yeah, but you're talking postseason as well, so about 170.
One thing that I think that you can always hear Vern scream until he's blue in the face is that you need speed, you need defense, you need pitching. And so far this offseason, the Royals have got a bat, or I guess a second baseman utility guy, but they re-signed Waka.
But you got a leadoff hitter, too, with that guy.
That we think. And time will tell with that, but you have Lorenzen now that you brought back. You brought back Michael Waka. You still have Lugo. You still have Reagan. You still have Marsh. You still have Bubic. You have your pitching staff, right? You got something. You let go of something. Singer obviously goes out and you bring somebody in. I think this is a more important signing than people might think of it because I saw the tweet yesterday that it went out and, everybody that's in baseball, talks about it. And I'm like, this is actually a really good sign because now you have a guy going into the season where you're like, you can trial and error this. Is he your fifth guy? Is he your mid-reliever guy? Because building that bullpen early, if they'd have done that last year, this team's maybe winning the AL Central. Not maybe, probably does. Because early on in the year, it was like, okay, Will Smith, but now you have Lucas Iersick, who's coming back next year. You have Michael Lorenzen, who's now coming back next year. Michael Waka, probably the third arm in your rotation. Your top three arms are set. Your middle relief could be set, and the back end of your bullpen is set. And yes, I'm like the rest of you. I would love another bat. I would love the solidified outfield corner position of a guy that can decently rake. I know you have Santander on your mind. There's other names that are still out there. And again, it was this time last year, about the mid of January, getting ready to get there, where Seth Lugo came to the team.
Well, this is when it's going to start picking
Correct.
up. Baseball teams were back to work yesterday. Obviously not here, and maybe St. Louis and maybe Cincinnati and some of the places that got hit by the storm.
Yeah.
But yesterday was welcome back for most of Major League Baseball because we're getting ready now to go to spring training. We're 33 days away from the Super Bowl, which means we're about 35 days away from pitchers and catchers. The holiday break is over now, and we started to see some activity yesterday in Major League Baseball. Other than Lorenzen, there was another move that I saw was
they're not
made
the moves
yesterday.
that you're going to be like, oh my God, this guy's going here, but they're moving.
They're moving. It's starting. The process is a little bit slower. Brent Rooker got paid yesterday. That was the other move that happened. $60 million. The A's have to go out and spend money. They've got to spend like 1.5 times the amount of the luxury tax they received in payroll. Otherwise, the union files a grievance. So Oakland has to go out and spend money. So they went out and signed Brent Rooker to, I think, a $60 million deal, 5 for 60 or something like that last night.
Your guy.
Is what I know. I mean, we had a bat.
Yeah.
They traded or they got rid of Brent Rooker and then never really replaced Brent Rooker, and he took off. Imagine if that bat was here. We wouldn't be looking for a bat right now. That was a mistake by getting rid of Brent Rooker, but hey, it happens, right? But I think the Lorenzen signing is good for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives you options, right? It gives you many options that you can have for him in particular. But also, it's a fallback plan in case Kyle Wright doesn't pan out. He's coming off the surgery. He's supposed to be your fourth starter this year. I mean, most likely Alec Marsh will get that opportunity to be your 5. But if something should happen there, then Lorenzen gives you that opportunity. If he needs to be a starter, he's got the ability to do that as well. It's just a nice signing. It's not one of those signings that you look at on January 6th and you say to yourself, boy, this is the difference between winning a playoff game or winning in the postseason and not winning in the postseason. But when you get to the postseason, we'll look back and go, a guy like Michael Lorenzen makes a difference. It's always those glue guys that end up having a major impact on your team. Hopefully he has one. But they still need to go out there and get a deal done with a bat. Nobody is doubting that at all, that this team is set to go in spring training. They still need another bat in that lineup. Who that bat's going to be, I don't know. I love Santander. I wish he would be the guy. But once, Toronto illusionally gets involved, and they're involved in everybody, seemingly the offers go out the roof, and Santander will probably end up signing a bigger offer somewhere else.
I just saw the video that you posted. You really did go all out. Is that like a new trend?
I sent you guys that yesterday. Did it get lost in the text thread yesterday?
Must have, because I don't remember seeing it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Sunday night, my kids put on their bikinis and ran outside and jumped into the snow.
Is this like a trendy thing that kids are doing during
It must
snow
be,
days?
I
Because you
guess.
were shirtless, sockless,
awesome.
gloveless, and the look of fear on your face running back inside is real.
Do you have no idea how cold that was,
no,
right?
Judging by your face, I don't know if that's your 5 o'clock shadow or if that's just a snow beard.
No, I used to do cryotherapy with Joe Mays down at the Leia Center back
Okay,
in the
we
day
can
pre-COVID.
pause that video at the end. The look in your
No, you can
eyes
pause
is
it,
just
yeah.
fear.
Oh, it's so cold. Like I was saying, I used to do cryotherapy, 3.5 minutes in Sub-Zero in a tank, right, with nothing on except what I was wearing. And in fact, when you do cryo, they make you wear gloves and hats and all this kind of
No,
stuff.
you were in basketball shorts, and that is it.
That is it. Yeah, and
I know there's nothing underneath those shorts.
At that point yesterday, there was not. No, there was, because I just got done. I just got done trying to run. I think I have a high ankle sprain.
I mean, you look like you got hit sticked by Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, it was cold. So Sunday
you
night,
found the Vontez Perfect of snowmen and came back inside.
I did. So Sunday night, we are downstairs watching game 272, watching Sam Darnold lay a stink bomb, and all of a sudden we hear this noise upstairs, right? And we're like, blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, what are they doing? What are these idiots doing right now, right? So we go up, my wife goes upstairs, and I hear screaming, oh my God, the floor is soaked now.
Oh, God.
Her at a 10 is probably, for a normal person, a 0. I'm like, okay, so I just continue to sit.
She's been cooped up in a house for a month.
Right, yeah. So I'm sure the floor is really wet.
Why is the carpet wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margo. Right? It's like one of those. I'm like, what am I doing? So I go upstairs, and there are the kids running out of the house like I did in their bikinis jumping into the snow. Now, my older daughter, smarter, obviously, she wore pants. I'm like, it doesn't really count if you're wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
You got, so my
Less
younger daughter
impressive.
did the bikini. I'm like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. They're like, you gonna do it, right? Sorry, fine. So I did it. I went downstairs, tried to run about 2 miles. Like I said, this high ankle sprain I got going on. Now, I can't believe Mahomes is playing. I can't even run. And did that right after I got done running about 2 miles. So I was a little sweaty. So yes, underwear was on during that.
You got
Yes.
to do that. Top text, do you have shrinkage? LOL.
Oh, hell yeah. What, you think I'm going to lie? Oh, no. I dove into a foot of snow with nothing on, and I was fine.
He went from having an Audi to an innie in about 2 seconds, dude. I'm dead serious. That's props to you, man. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, go back on it.
Peer pressure, man, from the kiddos.
Hey, you know what? You'll do anything for your
You
kids.
will,
right?
yeah.
We go back and look at the NFL season that was the 2024 season as we move on into what is the real season for here, Kansas City fans, playoff season. Bob Fescoe and Mac Morey, Dusty Likens. That's right. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home, Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, with Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team's proven marketing system, they can attract hundreds of buyers seeking a home just like yours. When selling your property, make sure to leave no money on the table. Dawn and her team will work diligently to ensure you receive the highest possible price for your home. And if you want the best possible offer for your home sale, Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team can get it to you, in most cases, above the asking price. Dawn Sharp and her team will bring you the most buyers. That's why, on average, they sell a home every 72 hours. So you want to work with an agent you know that you can trust. Contact my friend Dawn Sharp if you're looking to buy or sell a home. Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team is brokered by Epic Realty, and they are the real estate outfit that I would trust if I needed to sell my home, and they can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, contact them to discuss their instant offer program. You can Google them, Sharp Homes Team, and see over 200 5-star Google and Zillow reviews, or just check them out at homesforsaleInKC.com. That's homesforsaleInKC.com, and start packing.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com. ohdkc.com.
It's just not normal. The pain calls from chronic joint pain day after day. But some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it's become your new normal. Short-term fixes are not working. Make the decision now to say no, not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine, using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments, and they're living life again without that constant pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Metro Ford online at kcmetroford.com. In downtown, 35 southbound gets heavy around 12th Street and stays quite slow down towards 20th Street. I think you got a new problem in through there. We've seen accidents past 670 on entrance ramps, and transitions are quite treacherous, so use extreme caution As you make your way transitioning in and out of freeways, off and on freeways, those inside lanes are slick, but the outside lanes are running at high speed and causing problems. At Metro Ford, family-owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption, only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
We got a new function on the Odyssey app.
Did you guys know that this is a thing? I can send you messages from the Odyssey app. Kind of crazy.
KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
There's Littlefinger addressing the media on Ian Rappaport's sources. People said they were close to me? Question mark. Oh.
Wait, what?
Aaron Rodgers on Ian Rappaport's sources. Quote, people said they were close to me?
Oh, because he said people close to Aaron Rodgers. Oh, God.
So does he not have any friends?
Ian Rappaport also yesterday. This is where you have to kind of get through the minutia of some of these insiders. He called the Jacksonville job a coveted job yesterday. Just because it's in the NFL doesn't mean it's a coveted job. I'm not sure the top candidates are lining up to work for an owner that nobody knows about, that's trying to relocate his team to London with a quarterback that has gotten progressively worse year in and year out, that has no fan base of which to get excited about. How is that a coveted job? I would think of the 5 that are open, Jacksonville is probably the least of the coveted jobs.
Well, funny you say that because we'll probably talk about it here in a little bit. From the 816, Bob, my daughter had 5 15-year-old girls stay over for a sleepover last night. They all did this stupid video that made me do it. Miserable.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you did it, though, man. You had fun,
feel
right?
My pain. Now you know what it feels like to be Jack Dawson.
Could you imagine? I mean,
no.
That was literally a 5 seconds in the snow. Could you imagine falling off the Titanic?
No, I would have found the gun on the deck and just put it in my mouth.
I mean,
I'm not jumping in iceberg water.
Of ways to die. Oof. The Titanic and floating in ice water has to be up there.
I was listening to Cody and Gold's the fan club or whatever they call it nowadays. They had Dana Wright on. She brought up a story about how some old lady died because she was vacuuming behind a Sleep Number bed, and it started to lower while she was behind it and killed her.
Oh my God.
I was like, this sounds like one of the, remember that show, 1,000 Ways to Die or whatever it was? I was like, this lady died by sweeping behind her Sleep Number bed, and it pinned her against the wall, suffocating her or something like that. And died.
Oh my God. It just goes to show you, don't vacuum behind your bed.
That's crazy.
Or, unplug that thing before you go.
Or that.
It. Yeah.
But who knew you were going to have a malfunction? You know what probably happened?
I couldn't tell you the last time I vacuumed behind my bed. It's probably why I sneeze at night.
Maybe I got a humidifier now, pushes that humidity into the air.
Hell
Gotta have it this time of the year. Makes a huge difference.
Look at you getting older. You get the Navage, you got the high ankle sprain.
You got to get it all. Oh, man, is what happens.
Going on.
47, what do you have? I have a Navage, a high ankle sprain, and a humidifier. Boy, I'm set.
And a hell of a job.
I'm set for life here. But so, yeah, get the humidifier, get the Navage.
The new 30.
Yeah, that's what they tell you, right?
Yeah.
I started to watch this thing on Netflix yesterday. I think it's called I'm Old or something, and it's about this millionaire who is aging backwards.
Like Benjamin Button?
Yes.
Oh.
And he takes...
You saw Benjamin Button, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He takes thousands of pills per day. He's invested millions of dollars.
Thousands of pills per day.
Yes, and
be his pharmaceutical person.
It's like vitamin D and all this stuff, right? And he does blood transfusions constantly. Right now, he says he's 45, but his internal life clock is 40. So he spent millions of dollars. And that's where I was going with this.
Maybe
right?
he felt 30. I'd be like, it's worth it, but 1,000 pills a day.
He's hoping to live to 120 is kind of his goal.
I saw what Jimmy Carter looked like at 100. I don't want to go there. But R.I.P. to the Prez.
Right. But so you're 45, you're really 40. then like, are you 50 and is it always going to be a 5-year age difference? So you get to 120. Well, I'm as young as a 115-year-old.
Yeah, see, at what point is it irrelevant? Like, I feel like 45 being 40, I'm like, that's like, you're okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about like feeding his organ, and then not halfway through, about
feeding his organ.
Yes. Making sure the liver gets what it needs, and that you're eating for your lungs and all this other nonsense.
I gave my liver enough.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. And like 15 minutes into this, Jen looks at me, she goes, I am just not interested in this at all. I'm like, kind of got started out slow, but I was interested to see. But then again, you look at this guy, he's a millionaire. He's invested millions of dollars into trying to be like the perfect test balloon, if you will, for this program. And so he saved himself 5 years so far.
Let's review the 2024 season as we start. Mac, your name's at the top, so you get to go. As we start this, what player were you out on that you are now in on after watching this year? Mac Morey, go ahead.
For me, I think it's got to be Josh Jacobs. And I know this guy led the league in rushing 2 years ago, but it was on the Raiders. He had the most carries in the league. I was like, okay, bunch of usage, bad team, whatever.
Devontae Adams on that team.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, we know Devontae Adams. He means winning. And last year, kind of forgot that he existed.
I got Devontae Adams in my...
yes, you did.
I was excited about Devontae Adams over the weekend. Made some dough.
Cashed in on Littlefinger's narcissism. You knew that he was going to get his best friend.
It's going to happen.
That's exactly right. You called it.
I almost texted you and said, watch him throw a touchdown pass to Devontae Adams and then just walk off the field, and that be the last play in the history of his career.
Wouldn't have been surprised. But Josh Jacobs, I think he's a top 5 running back. I think Josh Jacobs has been incredible. He's kind of helped Green Bay keep their season alive, it's felt like this last 6 weeks. Jordan Love's had struggles. The defense has had struggles. They've had struggles staying healthy. Josh Jacobs has really helped them a lot.
Taking Josh Jacobs over Bijan Robinson?
Really close. I think I'll take Bijan.
Saquon Barkley?
Saquon. Derek.
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Really close, yeah. I'm thinking Gibbs, and I think Jacobs is probably at that 5th spot.
Okay. Bob?
Sam Darnold for me.
Okay.
I didn't know why this guy was still employed in the NFL at the beginning of the season, right? Like, did anybody else say why? Oh yeah, Sam Darnold. Other than Mac, who's been on this guy forever, but like Sam Darnold still has a job in this league.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was out on him. Now you know what? Even with the bad start, I'm in on Sam Darnold, and that dude's going to cash in. If the Vikings are smart, they franchise him, then trade him, and then let J.J. McCarthy play. Or trade J.J. McCarthy. It gives you options. J.J. McCarthy, by the way, some flow over the weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
It's up there with Drew Nixon. This might be kind of a stretch here, but mine's Baker Mayfield. Like, I'm one of these guys that, I want to see you do it more than once, right? Like,
fair.
Baker had a good year last year. I'm not disappointed his year last year was good. This year, I was all in on him because he lost a lot of his weapons for most of the year, kept that team fighting and going forward. And look, lost an overtime game to Patrick Mahomes. He outlasted, and outplayed his division. They're in the playoffs. Atlanta's not. And Baker Mayfield is a big reason for that. And he was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. And I now feel like where that Baker Mayfield hate was, I don't think it should be there anymore. This is back-to-back years where he's proven it. And this year he didn't have Godwin. He didn't have Mike Evans for a lot of the season either. I mean, he missed 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
And, made sure Mike Evans, what a celebration that was.
How cool was that?
Loved it.
I saw some people on
$3
X.
million. I'd do the same thing. I'd have done what you did in the snow, butt naked.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
But let's
I'd have
be
jumped
honest,
nose first, not the one on my face.
Even saved the $3 million. That guy just tied Jerry Rice for the most consecutive seasons, the greatest maybe wide receiver of all time. Like, Mike Evans does not get enough love.
No, he might be the most disrespected receiver of all time.
I mean, and I've loved Mike Evans since draft day. When I saw him sitting there and he was giving his backstory about his family and everything, like, I want to root for this guy a lot. And boy, I'll tell you, man, he has delivered.
Biggest surprise team in 2024?
For me, it's the 49ers in the bad way. Oh. I didn't think they'd be this bad.
A lot of injuries.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say
but
Broncos.
So did Detroit.
Detroit did too, and they kept it going. Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'd say Denver in a good way. I had Denver as a bottom 10, maybe bottom 5 team.
Minnesota.
Gotcha.
I mean, they won 14 games, man.
Yeah.
Like, I knew they were going to be decent. I knew they were going to be good. 14. You go into the last week and, surprise team. You look at Kevin O'Connell, who just shot up the boards, and now Jay Glazer's reporting, like, teams are calling. Mm-hmm. Like, what's it going to take to get Kevin O'Connell away from the Minnesota Vikings? They're going, Is this a prank call? Goodbye. Scam likely, but no, they're listening. I guarantee
you listen. You have to listen. And if you're a team that doesn't have a head coach or has a bad one, you call all of the. I would call Brett Veach if I was a team. Look, what's it going to take to get Andy? Nothing. Click. You got to make the phone call. You got to make the phone call.
So Minnesota being a 14-win team is, to me, out of the 2024 season, top 5 coaches, how do you rank them? I think we all kind of have this similar list here.
Yeah, I got Andy Reid, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Kevin O'Connell. That's my top 5.
Yeah, I've got Andy McVay, Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, Kevin O.C. I'm out on Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I think that's the only difference in all of our lists. I've got the same as Bob. Different order, but same 5 guys. Yep.
Still Tomlin over Dan Campbell. Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. I mean, I get it.
Consistency, Let's see what happens in the playoffs this year. Like, if they make the Super Bowl, obviously, and Pittsburgh gets washed by the Texans or by Baltimore on opening night, then, okay.
Could completely change.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
What do you want from Mike Tomlin? That phone doesn't get hung up quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Top 5 QBs in the NFL, according to 2024. I got Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, and Herbert.
Love it.
I have Patrick Mahomes, and then you can pick the other 4. They don't matter.
Fair enough. Classic. And then your top 5 teams.
I'm going Chiefs. Eagles, I have a question mark with because of the Hurts situation right now. If he's healthy, they're up there. Lions, Ravens, Vikings.
Yeah, I have Chiefs, Philly, Lions, Bills, Ravens. Those are my top 5 in that order.
Got to wait to Max Pack for me.
Yep.
Fair enough. Top 5.
That's what we call a tease in radio. Coming up on the other side of the commercial, we go through the playoff matches and what's your favorite as we dive into the AFC, NFC. You are listening to 96.5 The Fan. It is your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I was telling these guys I won some money on Davante Adams the other day, and I coupled it with Carson Wentz and Bo Nix, and I won big on Underdog Fantasy. And if you're in Missouri, you know what? You got great news because Underdog is available right now to play in Missouri. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your takes during the playoffs. Which players are going to go off and which ones are going to be ice cold. And with over 5 million happy players and 2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all of your favorite athlete performances. And like I said, over the weekend, I took Bo Nix to have more than 227.5 passing yards. How about Carson Wentz? More than a half total yard. He only had 10, but we still won. And Davante Adams with 1 touchdown put me over the top as well. Had a lot of fun on the Underdog app, and it is the best place to play champs. Download the app now, sign up with promo code BOB, and deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code BOB, B-O-B. Must be 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgagambling.org.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay on any line. Plus Price Lock, we won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Always still look at myself as a high-performing athlete, even at 40 years old. And so I want to go able to run and run fast and do things that I could 15 and 20 years ago. And it was getting to the point where the pain was starting to limit that.
Pain attacks people from all walks of life, not just former professional athletes like Bobby Carpenter. That's where QC Kinetics non-surgical treatment steps in.
And now that the pain is gone, I've been able to go and do the stuff that I love and run fast and run sprints and try to get back to where I was.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments use your body's own healing properties to deliver long-term relief without surgery.
Now, being able to go and work out and do the stuff that I want to do and challenge my body, it's made me a better person, a more pleasant person to be around.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Blue Springs I-70 westbound past 7 Highway with an accident left lane, keeping things slow for about a half mile. Approaching through downtown, 35 southbound gets heavy around 670. Stays slowed down towards 20th Street with some earlier problems that I think have all cleared. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get to On the Come here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, a bit that we do every single week. Thanks for listening. We truly appreciate it.
No doubt. Even on a day like today.
Yeah, still quite quiet on the street.
It really is, right? Hey, there's a car.
I just feel bad for these squirrels' nests, man. They're just like, we need to get mowed out on that, man. I know you disagree, but
I hate squirrels. I can't ever see a squirrel again.
I will say I've had gardens before, and it's like they are the most annoying things in the world.
No, they ruin your house.
They do burrow in.
I mean, when they get into those soft, we had to have the whole house wrapped.
You ever have bats?
I don't mind the bats because they eat mosquitoes.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'll tell you what's worse is the woodpeckers.
Yeah, because they start early.
We put like fake owls out, plastic owls outside. Yeah. It keeps the woodpeckers away. They're stupid.
Nice set of Hooters. I'm sorry?
What?
The owls.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber was on this weekend. I forgot how
Was
fun.
it really?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was nothing on yesterday, man. I was trapped in a house. I was like, what am I going to watch? And Dumb and Dumber came on. I was like, all right, this movie's still pretty funny.
Like there literally was nothing on. I'm trying to think of like the basis of the day.
I felt 9 years old again last night. I watched WWE Raw.
That
was
on
the opening night on Netflix.
Yeah.
Topanga was in the crowd.
Awesome.
You want to know what the biggest pop of the crowd was? By the way, for those of you that don't understand, pop, it's when the crowd goes nuts. Macaulay Culkin.
Really?
Yeah, he was there. He had his hat down, then he lifted up, and it was like the place erupted. I was like, damn, Macaulay Culkin.
Is that because maybe just after Christmas we all just watched Home Alone?
Maybe.
That sort of thing?
Maybe people were excited about that, or maybe it was after they booed Hulk Hogan and they were excited to see Macaulay Culkin on stage or whatever.
He got like booed off his
he
promo.
really did.
I mean, I sent you
How
guys a
bad
video.
is that beer going to be, too?
I've had it. It's not terrible.
Oh, you have?
That's okay.
Really?
It's not terrible.
What's it called?
Real American beer.
Real American
beer.
beer. So, yeah. But I mean, every time he was dropping the brother and like Pat McAfee was trying to and then it was like the announcers went quiet and it was like every time he talked, it was just like the LA crowd was like booing from the top of their like lungs, dude. I was like, somebody like Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, had to be in somebody's ear, being like, "Cut this, get this out." Like it was in, out, done. Didn't even make.
It was like 40 seconds.
I mean, dude, quick.
40 seconds too long with that.
You spent more time in the snow shirtless than he spent on a microphone cutting a promo.
No doubt.
And all it was is that beer is the sponsor of like Raw and Netflix, and it was like, eesh, they don't like you anymore for some reason.
Yeah, I'm trying to think though. What did we watch yesterday? Like throughout the day, I don't know, like some Seinfeld reruns. I think I got an episode of Wings involved as
I watched a lot of just like national sports shows just to see what people were talking about and like see, because that's where I was like texting you guys. I'm like, dude, really, these Cincy fans are really talking about this?
It's just
like,
brutal.
I also wanted to see like what people's favorite matchups were. There's a lot of people that have like good gambling takes on national shows, not all, but like some. I'm just like, all right. And then I wanted to hear how biased J-Mac was going to be on the herd towards the Giants and the Jets. And I was like, dude, all right, let's go to Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber was
I felt like I was already watching. I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah, Snow Days will bring out the bad TV, national sports shows, and then like Selling London I watched yesterday on Netflix.
And then today, fellas, it is the dropping of the Jerry Springer documentary on Netflix.
Oh, it's today the day?
See you that tonight. I already told the roommate, I'm like, hey, we got tonight figured out. There's no sports yet tonight. I mean, I'm sure there's college basketball. Cool. But
right,
like, it's really Thursday is when it starts, because Thursday
I saw an article today that Rutgers is fighting for their lives. It's January 7th. No team is fighting for their life in college basketball.
Yeah, conference play just started.
Just began. Literally just going,
Yeah, KU loses to West Virginia, then they beat UCF by 55. It's like, everything's fine.
Yeah, good.
But we did get the playoff matches, and it is interesting to know like which ones you guys tend to like the most. I know I'm big on Rams hosting the Vikings because that is a 14-3 team going on the road and playing a team that I think, and maybe I'll be wrong about this when we get to Monday, but I mean, if I'm fair and I take what I always take about the Chiefs and say I will always look at the first two most important things of a team before I do anything else, and that is who's their head coach, who's their quarterback, it is no doubt in my mind the NFC has the best head coach quarterback combo. 1, they've done it. 2, I know it. 3, we've seen it. And McVay and Stafford getting that time off with that offense that has Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Cooper Kupp in that offense, playing at home, getting a shell-shocked Minnesota team. I don't know if that's a far, too much of a
we're going to see
take.
how good Kevin O'Connell is as a coach, how his team responds on Monday night.
You call it game 272. That was wild card game 1.
Yeah.
Like that was like, hey, you're either the 1 seed or you're the 5 seed, and you either play the Rams or you get a bye week. And the team that was the most depleted team all year got the bye week, and the team in the AFC that got the bye week early that would have, like what Dana Hughes said, would have played 18 straight games.
Yeah, had we gone all the way, that's ridiculous.
After playing the most games in the NFL for the last 3 seasons, God forbid they rest their starters.
Right.
But no, I mean,
Don Van Natta.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued in this Rams-Vikings game because this is one of those games. It's like, hey, Sam, you were good all year. Kevin O'Connell, you're the coach of the year still. And now you're going to go into a place where this team that you're playing has proven it. They do have Stafford. They do have McVay. I'm very intrigued with the Rams being a 1.5 underdog at home because I look at the head coach and the quarterback, and at least in this matchup, I think the better matchup is for the home team and the Rams, who are a 1.5 point dog.
Well, it's hard to argue that. I mean, you have a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean, Minnesota does not have that. They have an up-and-coming head coach.
And a home team in a playoff.
And a home team in a playoff game. Not that LA is a great home field environment, and I'll be interested to see how many Viking fans are out there because that's another big-time fan base. I bet you there's a huge contingent of Viking fans that are going to be at that game. Hell, there's a huge contingent of every fan base out there except for the Los Angeles team. So it'll be interesting to see how many are out there. But you've got a team, and a quarterback and a coach who have done it before versus a coach and a quarterback who have not done it before and who are coming off a very detrimental loss because being the 1 seed versus the 5 seed is night and day. How are they going to respond to that? That's the number one thing that Kevin O'Connell has to deal with this week. It's not about X's and O's and Sam Darnold getting back on the same page with Justin Jefferson and all that. It's mentally, how are they going to respond? Because I'm sure when they walked into that facility yesterday morning, they were down, they were upset. You got to turn the page fast. Otherwise, when you walk in next Monday, you're packing a garbage bag and you're going home for the rest of the season, and your year is done. So this is really where we're going to see how good a coach Kevin O'Connell is based on the way that his team comes out and plays. If they come out and play a great game and it's a close game and they lose, okay, so be it. But if they come out and they play a bad game and they look like they're lethargic and they're not into it, then we're going to start saying, wow, Kevin O'Connell, in the most important job of the year as a head coach to get his team ready for the playoffs, he did not have them ready. Maybe he's not ready to be in that grouping of the 5 great teams, or 5 great coaches. But I think it's going to be a really good football game. I think it has the opportunity to be one of the best. I love Baltimore and Pittsburgh, but I really am. I'm looking forward to Denver versus Buffalo because there's 1% of me that's thinking upset in this one right now. There's 1% of me right now that's thinking upset when it comes to the Denver Broncos knocking off the Buffalo Bills. And you tell me there's a chance, I'm going to get excited for that one. So that's kind of how I see these playoff matchups, kind of playing their way out.
Mac, where does your nerd mindset go to a game? Because I feel like you're really interested in Pittsburgh-Baltimore for some reason.
Pittsburgh-Baltimore, yeah, it's a good one. It's the best AFC matchup. I just think the NFC matchups are far superior in the first round. I think the AFC come divisional and AFC championship.
I couldn't disagree more with you on that. Yeah, the NFC games for me, I'm just kind of like, I love Pittsburgh-Baltimore. The Chargers playing Houston is very intriguing because there's so much on the line for Harbs and for blank resume
for John Harbaugh.
Yeah. And obviously Denver is a divisional team, and Buffalo is the team that we'd like to see get knocked out of the postseason. So I think the AFC for me is more intriguing.
Here's a random question for you two. Whose day is a little bit tougher the next day after a loss? Tomlin's or Harbaugh's?
Which Harbaugh?
John
Harbaugh?
Jim's on house money. They weren't supposed to be a playoff team. Some people had
That's a great question, Dusty, because both fan bases will say, we haven't won anything. Harbaugh hasn't won since 2012.
A Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the number 1 seed, lost the AFC Championship game last year. Tomlin, 8-10 in the playoffs, always above 500.
Right.
Both are very respected in their division. It's one of the toughest divisions, but it's like, at some point, at one point, Marty Schottenheimer was literally on a level of his own, never was even questioned, and then eventually losing the playoffs added up and was like, hey, man, we got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder whose seed is hotter going into the next year if they lose in this game. Is it Pittsburgh? Is it Baltimore?
I would say...
Or Harbaugh or Tomlin.
You had it.
Yeah.
You were about to say it.
Pittsburgh, right? No,
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree personally.
Okay.
Because he'll have the MVP quarterback for the second year in a row and not be in the Super Bowl. And I get it. There's the stat how many MVP quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl. Mahomes was the last one to do it. But it's like,
nobody cares though. It doesn't make it right for the fans. You know?
It's like, well, you're winning a lot of games, but at the end of the day, you go 13, 14 wins in a season, and you got nothing to show for it, except individual accolades. That's not what the team needs.
It's a good question.
It is
because it makes you think. And I'm a little biased in that I follow more Pittsburgh people on X than I do Baltimore people, even though I've got relationship with people in both cities.
Mm-hmm.
I hear more complaining from Pittsburgh people about Mike Tomlin than I do
That's fair.
Baltimore people about John
Filipone
Harbaugh.
this weekend was like, he thought that their season was 6-12. He was like, something's not right. It's just it's one of those
Russell
things.
Wilson's your quarterback. I mean, and what he's done with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields this year has been pretty remarkable.
That's my thing.
I also think Pittsburgh people have an unrealistic expectation going into every season. And Tomlin's pretty much lived up to every expectation, obviously, except winning that Super Bowl. But Patrick Mahomes has taken up residency in that game. It's hard for any other team to go out there and win a Super Bowl, let alone the AFC, with the way that Patrick Mahomes has basically put down a flag and said, this is mine. And nobody's been able to come and get it, right? So it's hard, even for Baltimore fans to put up, we haven't been to the Super Bowl. Nobody has. Because the Chiefs have said, this is ours for the foreseeable future. None of getting in there. But, all right, we'll let Cincinnati in for that hot minute. But other than that, none of you are getting to the Super Bowl. So if you're in Pittsburgh and you're upset, everybody should be upset because the Chiefs have basically said, this is the Super Bowl. We're putting a moat around it. This is our game for the foreseeable future. Better luck in a decade.
It's just, I was thinking about that last night.
But no, I think it's a really interesting question, and I think Pittsburgh may be the answer because they complain more than Baltimore fans.
I do think the noise is louder for Tomlin now, but the noise would get insane if Harbaugh, after a 12-win season, Lamar might win MVP back-to-back, and you lose at home to this Pittsburgh team who's lost now 4 weeks in a row to 4 playoff teams, and they've looked bad in every game. They've looked terrible.
But Pittsburgh has dominated these guys, right?
Dominated is a strong word, but they play
Aren't they
close.
18-1 against Lamar Jackson or something stupid like that?
Oh, they do have a winning record against Lamar. That's right, but it's remember we looked at this. It was 7 games or something because he's missed so many. But they do have a winning record. That is true.
So if Baltimore loses, is more pressure on Lamar or more pressure on John Harbaugh?
I would put the more pressure on John Harbaugh.
See, I would put more pressure on Lamar because Harbaugh won one without Lamar.
It's tough. Would you rather have had the Bengals make the playoffs, yes or no?
No.
It doesn't matter to me. Like, I know that there's conversations to be had throughout the media about, they just didn't want him to come in. And you would have went and played Buffalo. And I think Buffalo would have beaten Cincinnati. I really do. I understand that Cincinnati was hot, but Cincinnati didn't beat anybody all year. They beat Denver, and I think they beat Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh was falling apart. They're showing us again, Russell Wilson was 5 for 12 or 51 yards in midway through the third quarter. That's not an impressive win to me. You lost to everybody else that mattered. What did Dana Hughes say? You won 4 games in 2.5 months to start the season?
Yeah, 4 games in the first 3 months of the season.
Would it have been a fun storyline? Yeah. Is it a fun storyline without him in the playoffs? Absolutely. So it doesn't really matter to me if they made it or not. And I know Zach Taylor's out there like, they don't want to see us getting it. I can guarantee you that. Sorry.
Who doesn't want to see you
That's
getting
what Zach
in?
said?
Yeah, well, you know what? Your team didn't want to see you getting in. They played like ass all year, Zach. That's a reflection of you, Coach.
Real quickly before we get to On the Come, who is the worst playoff team in the picture this year? AFC, NFC.
Playing the worst or just worst overall?
Worst overall. In your
For
opinion.
me, it's Washington. I have nothing for them. Nothing. Like
Scary
literally
Terry,
nothing.
Zagracious. You got Brian Robinson Jr.
Will never do it for me. It's just a team that just exists. Again, part of me, honest to God, is that they have some of the worst uniforms I have ever seen, and I can't take them seriously with those clown uniforms on. They're terrible. That W on the helmet, like the whole thing is just, it's disgraceful.
The color scheme isn't too bad.
I'm not a fan at all. I don't like that maroon. I don't know. The whole thing has just got a stank on it.
I would put Washington above Houston. I would put Washington above Pittsburgh, in my opinion. I don't think they're the worst. I don't think they're obviously like middle of the pack, but I think they're probably like the third worst. But I mean, every team in the playoffs are great. Like the NFC's loaded. Right? Detroit, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Rams, Tampa. I think Tampa's better than Washington. Maybe that's a far stretch. I don't know. They do have a rookie going into the playoffs for the first time, and Dan Quinn's got a lot to prove as well. Hat backwards and all. I think the worst team is Houston. Part of that is injury-wise. Part of that is like they play in a really bad division. I think they play in the worst division in football. I think the AFC South is absolutely terrible. You look at Tennessee, you look at Jacksonville, you look at Indianapolis, who's they're in questions too.
They just fired their defensive coordinator this morning.
Yeah, they're not going to fire their head coach. I can promise you that. But Houston, man, I mean C.J. Stroud had a rough sophomore slump. He lost Tank Dell, his good friend. Obviously, we saw that gruesome injury in Kansas City. Not a big running game. Playoffs come around. Your defensive line's good, but your secondary's not great. I think Houston's going to get blown out. I really do.
I agree.
I think Baltimore, or not Baltimore, but I think
the Chargers.
Los Angeles. I mean, it's a 2.5 spread for the Chargers. I just think with the Chargers defense against C.J. Stroud and what Justin Herbert might be able to show, I could see that like alt spread that game to like 6.5 Chargers. I think it win by a touchdown.
Stroud has a lot to prove though in the playoffs because all year long he's been hearing about the sophomore slump, right? Maybe this is where he steps it up and goes and plays big because it's a big situation. You learn a lot about guys in the postseason.
Yeah, and he got a postseason win last year and then ran into the Baltimore Ravens in the second half when they got shut out. But again, like I think when you look at everything and you look at the teams, I think Houston's the one where you're like, that would be the one team I'd want to play, in my opinion.
Okay.
Let's get to On the Come.
On the Come.
So good you hear it twice.
On the Come.
Not traffic, I'll tell you that.
No. No, this guy, he's zooming along with the Jeep with the snow flying off.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Max, start us off with On the Come because this is absolutely wild that you have this name on the line.
I'm stunned. Is this a misprint?
No, this is just
a couple weeks ago.
It's Marcus Mariota, baby, On the Come. What a showing for him.
You're riding with a traveling crooner, baby.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like, was a traveling crooner. He had a hat on, a cigar, and everyone forgot who he was.
He looked great. And if they didn't know whether he was going to be the backup there next year, he will be.
Marcus Mariota or Carson Wentz? Who would you rather have?
Mariota. But so much about a backup is a situation.
Wait, are you asking me this a week ago, or are you asking me this?
Exactly right. That's true.
Because I think my answer is different.
Yeah, Mariota also, it's about situation. Like he is an
Carson Wentz
older...
looked good before the game.
It's true, he did. The hair was looking nice. He's an older Jaden Daniels. So I think Mariota, great positioning, made some money this offseason, man. Good for him.
Yeah, he beat the Dallas Cowboys and Trey Lance. What a move by Jerry Jones, though. How about that, Richard of the Week?
I mean,
that's a Richard move.
Yeah, I mean,
$500K if he starts. Shit, he put in Trey Lance. I'm not paying him $500,000.
Jerry ought to write that check out of his own pocket because he's a douche.
That's a jerk move, dude.
It really is. Like that's right there is the ownership matters.
Right.
you do stuff like that. How many people want to really go down there and be part of that senior citizen unit down there at John Knox Village? I mean, Jerry World. Because that's what that's turning into. That's turning into the biggest John Knox Village this side of John Knox Village down there. What other washed-up player? Oh, Tyreek Hill's going to sign with Dallas? Cool.
I saw a tweet this weekend that said, Jerry Jones, quote, "I want to be the general manager and owner until I die." And the next follow-up tweet was, "Hopefully Jerry lives forever." I was like, I could
Maybe we got to
that.
get him that reverse aging stuff. He's a billionaire. He can get on that. But, I mean, no, you're running a John Knox retirement community down there, Jerry, and continue to do you. Continue to do what you're doing. It's been outstanding.
Zach Cooper Rush, who could have gotten $500K as a career backup and had a good moment. Nah, we'll put Trey Lance in there. Marcus Mariota's numbers, by the way, why Max says this. 15 of 18 for 161 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. He also ran the ball 5 for 56. So
somebody also asked him about Trey Lance earlier in the year, and he goes, "I don't see him playing this year."
20 of 34 for 244, sacked twice.
Wait, we got to give this man $500,000. We'll play Cooper or whoever played the other day.
Trey Lance has at least got 8.5 if he played for Dallas this year.
That's right.
Bob, who's on the come for you?
Mike Vrabel. This guy is positioned
in Chicago tomorrow.
Already with the Jets, now interviewing with Chicago. You talk about a man who has basically played this flawlessly, has every team coming after him, and got the New England Patriots to fire a coach thinking they have an opportunity to get Mike Vrabel up in New England. He positioned himself for the Jets job. Bob Kraft went, not losing you to the Jets this time. So fired his guy for this guy, Mike Vrabel. It's going to be awesome, though, in New England. I think it's going to be fun because I think he's going to bring some of that swagger back to New England, and I think this means Buffalo's days are getting numbered in the AFC if Vrabel goes there.
Oh, boy. So Vrabel's your head coach, Josh McDaniels your offense coordinator, and then Gerard Mayo's your defense coordinator.
Yeah.
Why not, dude? Why not? Have to worry about Belichick. He's in Tobacco Road, enjoying life. Now he's on Twitter or X.
Does anybody buy what Robert Kraft sells to? Like him
I could barely understand him yesterday.
Oh, I'm just a steward of this franchise. I'm honored to be the owner. My family and I are very fortunate. Blah blah blah.
Sound like a State of the Union address. My on the come is Zach Ertz. You think to yourself, why is Zach Ertz? His last 2 weeks, 5 for 44, a touchdown. 6 for 72, 2 touchdowns. Zach Ertz is a big part of that offense for Washington to keep it moving. I know they have Scary Terry, and Secretius is also good, and Brian Robinson Jr. is a stud at running back, and Jaden Daniels, as long as he's going to be good, they got to have these sort of weapons, and Zach Ertz is what exactly Travis Kelce's been to Patrick Mahomes or to Alex Smith. A big target, red zone threat, and you got to look for him on the field. And Zach Ertz was a name that we remember from Philadelphia, and I know that he's been decent this year with Washington. He's been a good tight end, but he's starting to get into that mode where it's like, you can trust me, you can put the ball in my direction, and I will make sure things happen. And if he's going to be on the come, Washington, again, can make some noise in this playoff. Again, you have a rookie quarterback nobody knows anything about. Last year, C.J. Stroud got a first-round game, and he won that game. This year, Washington, they'll play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that's a game that they can win. I think that's a game that they might win. Again, we'll see I think they play Tampa Bay, right, in the first round? They do. They play Washington at Tampa Bay. That game at 7:15. Zach Ertz has been good this year. He's been great the last 2 weeks, hence why he is on the come for yours and only myself.
There you go.
You got Mike Vrabel. He's got Marcus Mariota. I've got Zach Ertz. You know the season's over when that happens.
That's exactly right.
Vrabel, who's done nothing all year, is on the come.
That's right.
Vrabel's going to put himself in such a great spot, though, man. He's going to have 5 offers to choose from.
Is he the first one hired?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll be the first name? Because now Mike McCarthy's apparently getting asked to be interviewed by the Bears, but he's still the head coach for the Cowboys?
Well, he's not.
Is he not?
His contract's up.
Okay.
But it doesn't expire till January 14th, a week from today. Okay. And so they need permission between now and next week to interview him, or they can wait to the 15th and interview him when his contract is up. That's the other one that's weird. If you're going to keep him, you need to announce he's staying and move on.
Again, you said retirement village is being what's ran in Dallas.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm like, dude, I'll go to Jacksonville. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
I'm like, get me out of Dallas. It's been hell. I don't like this timeshare.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean,
Right.
Mike McCarthy's eating his, carrot and raisin salad and tapioca and, whatnot. I mean, they're running a senior citizen complex down there, man. Everybody that they sign has seen better days.
Yeah. And Micah Parsons goes out in a storm in Dallas, and now they got to sign him if they want to bring him back, which I did see reports that Chiefs might be interested. But again, they're always interested, according to sources. Come up on the other side, former Chief player who has officially...
Who isn't interested in Micah Parsons?
Yeah, Dallas? I don't know. Former Chiefs player really made himself look like an ass, but we should have seen it coming because I actually called this 2 years ago. I know that's not that long ago, and I know it's not that big of a take, but I will explain what I mean on the other side. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan. This is Fescoe and Dusty with Mac Morey on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
Fescoe and Dusty.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Got a little foaling action taking place this Friday, and I am looking forward to it. And if you haven't foaled yet, you need to get in there, especially with the weather the way it is outside. It's the perfect indoor activity for everyone. Whether you're looking for something fun to do on a cold date night, maybe you want to take a group of friends and celebrate a birthday, or maybe you're just looking to get the kids out of the house because you've been trapped inside for the last couple of weeks and the last couple of days with the snow. You want to get them out and have some fun. Fun for parents, fun for kids, fun for everyone. It's foaling. It's football plus bowling plus bar, and that equals Foaling Warehouse, Kansas City. And parents, I'm going to tell you what, they've got a world-class bar that can whip up any cocktail you want, a beer selection that's fantastic, and you can bring your own food so you can celebrate the party in your style and do anything you want when it comes to eating at Foaling. Anybody can be catered at Foaling. So check them out and reserve a lane at FoalingKC.com. It's football plus bowling plus bar, and that's Foaling Warehouse, Kansas City, located at 435 and State Line. Reserve your lane at FoalingKC.com and get your foal on.
Booth Creek Wagyu, KC's premier Wagyu beef meat market, has even more convenient ways for you to shop. In addition to their location at 135th and Metcalf, they're now open at 95th and Knoll. Everyone deserves to elevate their beef. Whether you're looking to wow your family with an unforgettable roast this holiday season or impress your friends, neighbors, and coworkers, their Wagyu experts are ready to help you pick out something unforgettable. Booth Creek Wagyu, now with 2 locations, open 7 days a week or at boothcreekwagyu.com.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Alex to let you know that if you're looking for that new career, Centric is the place you want to go. Look, you've been sitting around in a job you don't like anymore, and you want to try something new. I get it. Who wouldn't want a job with better pay, better career advancement, and better opportunities?
So if you've been thinking of a new career, the new year is a great time to start. Classes start in the middle of January at Centric. Contact our friend Russ. Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Get ready for fun in the sun with screaming deals at the KC Boat and Fishing Show. January 9th through 12th at Bartle Hall with kids free admission. Take advantage of 4 days of special show pricing on hundreds of boats plus nonstop entertainment. Go to KCMoBoatShow.com for more info.
Your skin tells a story. At KMC Dermatology and Med Spa, we understand that stress, time, and life can leave their mark, but it's never too late to refresh, renew, and restore your skin. With 25 expert providers across multiple locations, we make glowing skin easy. Same week appointments? Absolutely. Select Saturday appointments available? You got it. From medical dermatology to advanced aesthetic treatments, we're here to help you look and feel your best. Schedule your appointment today at kmcpa.com. KMC Dermatology and Med Spa. Beyond the surface.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then. 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or Hellsberg.com.
Here's Traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Metro Ford online at kcmetroford.com. Missouri side 70 eastbound before 435 with an accident in the exit lane. That's keeping things slow in the immediate area. At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption, only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The answer to that, Bob Fescoe, is no.
No, I don't think I think you're right.
Yeah. Welcome back into Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan. Mac Murray, Bob Fescoe, Dusty Like is with you on a Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. One thing I did notice that you want to do, keep an extra jacket in your car.
Yeah.
Keep a loaded water supply in your car, whether it's a Stanley, whether it's a bottle of water, whether it's a thermos cup, whatever. Keep that in there. And make sure you got at least a half a tank of gas in your car.
I got gas the other day at
So did I.
Hy-Vee. I'm like,
Yeah.
I better fill up right before the storm comes here. That way you have a full tank of gas. I got
Get
a
it in
big
ya.
coat today, my Scout starter jacket, baby. And I got some extra water in there. I was going to bring food in the car, actually, too, but I didn't think I needed that today. Like now, had we gone out yesterday, I would have packed a rations box.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have had the whole damn taco kit in the back of the seat. Enough for 4 people. Not today. But no, again, shout out and respect to the wonderful people that are plowing the streets. Guy texted, he goes, I'm a snow plower. I don't know what day it is, let alone week, month, or year. I was like, hey man, praise be to you, to the people that work in the hospitals, the gas stations, to all those people out there that have had to go out there, whether you have to worry about trees on power lines or whatever it may be. Hats off to you. Applaud to you. Thank you so much. Some not as fortunate as others where they can take the day off.
Like we have all those jobs that we don't think about too. The guy who cut down the trees about the power lines.
Nurses.
Didn't even consider that being an issue.
Nurses, doctors, officers, plow people, like all these people that had to literally wiggle their, it's like, sorry guys, I know you didn't work, but hey, some of us had to. So again, we give our hats off to you and our respects.
Because the roads were great this morning. At 4 a.m. I was stunned with how much blacktop was out there. Great job.
Shoot, man, they had the outer roads cleared at least some years. I was taking the outer roads. Normally, those are the ones secondary. These were nice.
We got a foot of snow on top of, 0.2 of an inch of ice, right? And these roads were spectacular. So whoever handled it all, who's ever in charge at every municipality, pat yourselves on the back for putting together and looking forward and having a plan in place, respecting the forecast, and then executing and getting your team on board to do everything and having that plan in place before, 2 seconds before the storm hit. Because if they weren't prepared and ready to go, they would have been stuck there holding the bag. They did a great job, man. Absolutely phenomenal job by the plows.
And one that I also missed, a shout out to the meteorologists because you nailed it.
They did a great job. Yep.
You know how we always do the script? They got the script, every single thing right. From the start of it to the end of it to the middle, the guts of it, everything was right. So hats off to you all. And grocery stores. Like I said, the Rice Road Hy-Vee, $1 million in 2 days. Whole store. I mean, that's insane, dude. I know I might look at it and be like, well, grocery prices these days, that's not hard to do. I'm like, dude, $1 million in 2 days.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys at the Hy-Vee at 135th and Antioch on Saturday morning, right before it really hit, and I'm like, "What'd you think of?" We had one of our the meat counter guy. Said we had one of the best days in the history of this store, if not the best day in the history of the store, because everybody went out, got their rations, got their food. The chili aisle, I couldn't find a can of beans.
Looks like the last of us.
I've never seen anything like that before. Right? It was wiped out. Everybody had chili, but everybody did what they were supposed to. It's amazing what happens when people do what we ask of them, right? Like, stay home and things are going to be okay. It helped that it was a Saturday, Sunday leading into a Monday as well, and it wasn't middle of the week type stuff. So people had the opportunity to prepare. But people listened. They stayed home. They didn't go do stupid things. Now, you saw some videos of people, like the woman jumping out of her car and letting that thing roll down the ice road and then down an embankment and things like that. Like, Saturday was the worst of it. People were out in it on Saturday, but I think quickly learned, I'm going home. I'll see you Tuesday.
No doubt about it. May never see this guy in Miami again.
This is my first time. I haven't been in the playoffs, man, so... I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro.
Yeah, don't let that door hit you on the ass.
It's great playing here, but
I mean, you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, it gets.
That is Tyreek Hill audio of after they lose and are out of the playoffs. Look, man, there's a lot to dive in here. And I had said, a couple years ago when Tyreek Hill had started going out there and doing his podcast and he had dropped things. And this is stuff I'm not making up. And he's like, I'm going to be a porn star. Or I want to do all this sort of stuff. And I want to get paid and all this, like all that sort of stuff. Like, it was giving me PTSD of the way that we saw how Antonio Brown's career shifted. And I also bring this up because that's not somebody that if I'm a person of any sort of education or smart, I'm not comparing myself to Antonio Brown.
Oh, God, no.
I'm not trying to put myself in the same sentence. And the reason I bring this up is Tyreek Hill doesn't make the playoffs in the first time in his career. And he's out. Like the first sign of adversity, I want out. And I know this was his probably worst year as a player in the NFL. And, when your team's down and the playoffs are no longer a thing that can happen, the one quote that you say is, I'm out, the door's open. I can't even finish the sentence at the end of that thing because he doesn't even finish himself. And then not only that, you go to your social media page and you replace your face on Antonio Brown's face when he does one of the most asinine things we've ever seen in the NFL, where he damn near strips naked, quits on his team, and walks out of the Meadowlands, waving to the crowd, giving the peace sign.
Right.
So now, if you never wanted, or you want to say, oh, that's unfair, Dusty, they're not the same person, then why are you putting yourself in that position? You've now told everyone in the league that all you want to do is do what's best for your family and everything like that. You did that. You got paid twice and made a lot of money. And yet the entire thing that people followed you on this entire season ride was the fact that you were just continuously having children with, different people. That's live your life, bro. I'm not going to tell you that. But like the fact that like the first time you face adversity, you want to quit your team, you want to go somewhere else, you want to, do all these sort of things, change your profile picture to Antonio Brown, but your face and give those kind of comps in the open. And it's like, your season was a disaster. Basically, a lot of it was because of you. The incident of the streets in Miami where you were speeding in your Lambo, where all you had to do was just cooperate. And were they a little rough with Tyreek Hill? 100%. Could the whole thing have been, averted? 1,000%. And then the last game of the year where everything is, and I mean, look, I've been around teams that have missed the playoffs by one game. It's gut wrenching. It's depressing because you were there. Like,
but they weren't there all year.
No, but they had a chance.
They had a chance,
and they fought. And then it's like at the very end of it, you're like, I'm out, I quit. I think a lot of this is the fact that he desperately misses the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, there's no question he does. He's wearing Chiefs pants.
And you know that because he tweets about them, he talks about them, he shows video about them. Like he said, he's still wearing memorabilia of them at the birth of another child. And it's like, man, I think we all could have seen this coming. But the fact that like there were comps is like maybe he will go the same route as Antonio Brown where he makes it about himself. He wastes some talent and he just kind of goes off on this tangent that nobody else agrees with is, maybe unfair at the moment at the time when it was made. And I did it on After Hours 2 years ago. And then to see that comparison through his media page, it's like, why are you doing this? And now I'm at the point now where like, I don't care to ever hear from you again. What? I think you're a Hall of Famer. I think you're a great wide receiver, but you're damaging yourself where you don't need to. And I think it all roots back to the point that the Chiefs run a route to a three-peat. The Chiefs have been successful without him. And the egotistical mindset that he has of, we'll see. And the next year without Tyreek Hill, number one offense, MVP, Super Bowl. The next other year without Tyreek Hill, Super Bowl. The next year without Tyreek Hill, en route to a three-peat.
Well, and look, this has been Tyreek Hill's MO since the day that he was drafted. It's why I've been so outspoken about not bringing Tyreek Hill into this organization, because I don't think he's somebody that this organization needed at the time. Now, did he help? Yeah, you better believe he was a great player and will go down as the best wide receiver in history. From a football standpoint, I was wrong, but from a personal standpoint,
Chiefs is what you're saying. Not best wide receiver in history of the NFL.
No, for the Chiefs, no question right now. I mean, there's no question he's the best wide receiver in franchise history. From a football player, I was wrong about that. From a personal standpoint, I was right about that. Tyreek Hill is not the guy that you want in your locker room when it's all about me. And you say the first time it got tough, he quit. I'll argue with you that all day. He quit the second half of that Cincinnati playoff game here in Kansas City when he was stopped short of the goal line right before halftime. He quit then, and then has been continually making it about him up until yesterday when he was, he's going to quit the Miami Dolphins because they didn't make it into the playoffs. How about you look at yourself in the mirror? Instead of being somebody that walks away from these tough situations, you become that leader that you should be at $20 million a year. A guy who's been in this league a long time. A guy who had a fight to get into this league. A guy who had somebody take a chance on and never really respected that chance. Like, I don't know that he ever thanked John Dorsey. I don't know that he ever thanked Clark Hunt. I don't know that he ever thanked Andy Reid or Brett Veach or any of these guys that brought him in here and turned him into the greatest wide receiver in franchise history. And he obviously helped with that. I'm not taking anything away from Tyreek Hill, the football player. But Tyreek Hill, the person, has clearly forgotten how he got to where he was. Because if it wasn't for the Chiefs, John Dorsey and Andy Reid, and Clark Hunt allowing that guy to be drafted when he is, Tyreek Hill is not in the NFL right now. He's not playing professional football right now, and he's not making the kind of money that he's making and having the opportunities that he's having, and he never once thanked the Kansas City Chiefs. So I didn't like the way that he came in to this organization. I didn't like the way that he went out of this organization, and that's a player that I've never rooted for, and I will never root for again. He's the type of player that brings down organizations. There are energy givers and there are energy suckers. And if I'm a head coach of an NFL team, I know things aren't going to be great all the time. And if I got this guy on my team and things start to go south, how much further south are they going to go because he's a malcontent that's sitting here acting like a petulant child? Tyreek Hill, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't know how marketable you are to a real franchise anymore.
I know a team that'll sign him, the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys, because, again, they run John Knox Village under that dome. Old, retired, washed up, you go to Dallas.
We forgot a couple of shout-outs for this weather. Shout out to the mailmen from the 016 Mailmen, ? We're here today. Absolutely you are.
All right. I didn't see anybody driving yesterday. No package deliveries, no mail, and that was smart. There was no need to be out there.
And then also from the 913, shout out to my garbage guys working hard today in brutal conditions. That's a tough job.
That's tough, man.
That's tough. So
it's cold outside.
Yeah. Baby, it's cold outside. Coming back on the other side, we get into start bench cut here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home, Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
What the hell's wrong with your station?
On Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, if you've been shoveling for the last couple of days, maybe you got some backaches or some shoulder pain, or maybe you've just been dealing with arthritis pain for a while now, and you're thinking to yourself, that pain that's caused from chronic joint pain day after day, it's not normal, but some of you have to deal with that pain for so long it's become your new normal, and short-term fixes just aren't working. So make the decision now to say, no, I'm not going to live with this pain anymore, and get moving again in 2025 with the help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, joint preservation, and you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine, using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments, and they're living life again without that constant pain in their joints. If you want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints and get lasting relief with these amazing treatments, then call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Deal with joint pain now so you can make the most of the new year. Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Missouri side 70 eastbound heavy from Van Brunt over towards 435 with two separate problems. The first one in the left lane, and later on, the right exit lane is blocked, and that's got you bottlenecked there down to one center lane. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Dana, and Clean right here on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Right back here on Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan with Mac Morey, Bob Fescoe, Dusty Likens. Damn glad to have you from the 913. It needed to be said.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Also from the 913, this dude has been a top 3 wide receiver in the league. He's done his part.
For what?
Okay. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's a top 3 wide receiver in the league. You don't hear him saying that. Like, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to be in Dallas anymore. I'm out.
Tyreek Hill's a clown, man.
Jamar Chase says a lot of stuff, but he didn't say I'm out in Cincinnati after they lost the playoff spot.
No, he didn't. He didn't quit on his team.
He also backs it up.
Yeah. He also won the Triple Crown.
So did Tyreek Hill this year, didn't he? 3 children?
I don't know. He's whatever. And then somebody says, a lot of people think he's going to be a Chief again. I heard Nick Wright say something where he's going to go to another team first, and then when he's like older and like 32, 33 and has like the 1 year prove it deal, it's like, all right, we'll take you for like $1.5 million. It's like, I don't know if I doubt they bring him back. And when doors shut, Normally they stay shut. Now Kareem Hunt is the
Kareem
exception.
Hunt came back. Yep,
but that's the exception. Now again, I believe that Kareem Hunt was at like Mahomes' wedding or somebody's wedding. Like
Kareem Hunt did a bad thing here
Yes.
in Kansas City, right? Like we all saw
Very
that
bad.
thing. Nobody would ever look at that and go, "Oh, it's okay." No, it's not. What he did was totally unacceptable. Okay, left Kansas City, took his poison. Hit rock bottom.
Got the DUI and on
Right,
video camera
yeah.
saying I screwed my life
Right,
up.
like hit rock bottom, realized, I screwed up. Sure seems like he's learned from this. Since Tyreek Hill has left Kansas City, he's done nothing but bitch about the Chiefs as an organization, right? I mean, let's call
Made
it
it
what
all
it
about
is.
himself.
Made it all about himself.
It needed to be said. What happened to that podcast, by the way? Did he find out it's actually kind of hard to do something consistently when it comes to media?
Yeah, because everybody can do this job.
I can do your job.
No,
you want to do
couldn't.
20 hours of sports all week?
Come on
in.
Come on
baby.
in anytime,
The
man.
mic's open. We got 4 mics open.
Yeah, they're always
Feel
open.
free.
Right, and then you go.
Yeah.
And so you got him who, since he left here, he's been a heel. I mean, there's no other way to discuss it. Tyreek Hill has been a heel since he left here in Kansas City. And I'll never close the door on anything because we've seen stranger things happen, right? We have seen strange things happen in
Can't wait for that
sports,
to
right?
come back.
But I'll never close the door. But I look at Tyreek Hill as a guy who doesn't deserve to come back to Kansas City. Like, he needs Kansas City more than Kansas City needs him, obviously,
Yeah, it's
right?
been proven.
It's been proven. We don't need you, Tyreek. And that's the thing that bothers him the most, is that this organization not only moved on, but moved on in a way that nobody thought they could move on by winning championships and sitting on the doorstep of their 3rd consecutive championship, which has never been done, all without Tyreek Hill. And he's watching all of this and going, damn, I thought I was a big part of that. Maybe Tyreek Hill actually held this team back from doing more than what Tyreek Hill allowed them to do because of his attitude. I mean, what about that Cincinnati game? What if he doesn't pout after that play to end the first half and he gets his ass in gear and they go out there and they play a good second half of football? Maybe we're talking about going for a 5-peat.
I mean, that wasn't Mahomes,
It wasn't his moment either.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But what's he dealing with inside the locker room? What's Tyreek Hill doing to affect this team?
I just think that the one thing, and then we'll get in the start bench cut, the one thing that really slaps him across the face is the fact that the first year he left, they were the best offense in the league and Mahomes won an MVP. And then the second year, once he was gone, they went into the playoffs with a rookie wide receiver as their number one target outside of Travis Kelce with the second-year running back and won the Super Bowl. And it's like, damn, they did 2 things that really, they didn't need me at all. So I think there's a little bit of that. But hey, look, man, you made a lot of money. You're a Hall of Famer. You've got a Super Bowl ring.
You
Be
went
grateful.
for the money. You went for the money.
Not only that, just be grateful.
And the Chiefs gave you the opportunity to get that money.
Doors closed, bro. I'm out. Start bench cut presented by Jay Southland Tow. Those are getting to know with Jay Southland Tow. These guys are heroes, man.
Yes,
I
that's
guarantee you
right.
they've been working around the clock. They don't know what day it is, but we do start bench cut with some tasks. Go ahead.
Here's Fescoe, Dusty, and Mac with this week's edition of Start, Bench, Cut.
All right. Start bench cut. Let's keep it to the theme. Start bench cut these jobs: shoveling snow, raking leaves, mowing the yard.
I am going to start mowing.
Yeah.
I am going to bench raking the leaves.
No doubt.
And I am going to punt shoveling the snow.
The worst task there is. I saw Rob Britton said it on Twitter this weekend. He's like, one thing I can come to a conclusion that shoveling snow is the worst chore there possibly is.
Yeah.
It is absolutely terrible. Like, especially when you get like this much. And I know there's going to be some guy named Gary on the text line who's like, dude, go get a snowblower. I don't have $1,500 to go spend on a toy.
Yeah.
So
You don't- the only reason we have is because Emily gave us a snowblower this time
Shout out
last
Emily.
week, right?
Clutch from
She's
Emily.
a saint.
Take the snowblower. I don't need it. You sure?
few weeks later,
fine.
It's like, I'll be in Arizona in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Take me with you.
I'll have nothing here. I won't need this. Go ahead and take the snowblower. Week later, boom, storm.
Yeah.
Thank God we had that snowblower that we got yesterday from Emily. So thank you.
Yeah.
Because shoveling does suck. The only saving grace about that is you only have like 2 times a year, maybe, that you need to do it. You know.
Yeah, because we did the strategy where we try to get out there early.
What is your strategy?
Well, we tried to get out there early and do it to start, and then it was just so much snow it didn't even matter. Like when you could see the sides of the driveway and then you could no longer see them, it's like, well, that didn't really make a difference. Plus, like, I don't know. I just you got to go out there, put a podcast in, put music in, bundle up, don't overdo it, because a lot of people die doing this.
Yeah.
Because they get overheated and their heart's not used to that work, but you feel like you're cold. I don't know, dude. It's just, I hate shoveling snow. I hate everything about it.
Yep.
I love mowing and I love mulching / getting the yard ready. So I would start both those and then just bench and cut everything that has to do with snow.
And you know
Easy.
what? Quite honestly,
Yeah.
I'd rather use a rake than a blower.
Yeah.
Because I think a rake at the end of the day is more efficient than blowing. You're blowing in the same direction 10 times.
yeah.
It's going all over. You know,
You talking about the snow blower?
No, I'm talking about the
I
leaves.
like the leaf blower.
Yeah. Oh, see, just give me the rake.
Get it out of that fence line. You have to worry about, getting it tangled. We keep going on with start, bench, cut, and fitting the theme of the weather. Driving in snow, heavy traffic, or heavy rain. Start, bench, cut.
I'm going to start snow because 99 times out of 100, there's nobody else out there.
That's fair.
And,
that's a good point.
And so when you have, like we did this morning driving in, there was nobody on the road except that nitwit going the wrong way in a 2-door spec with their flashers on.
Like the scene from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah, right.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was.
my favorite scene
Yeah.
in that.
Oh, it's so
So
good.
I'll take driving in snow. I'll start that. I will bench heavy rain, and I will cut driving in traffic because I just don't have the patience
If
because
these-
everybody's selfish at
If
that
these
point.
are the stipulations, I'll take traffic all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Heavy rain is bench because it just gives me so much anxiety because you're just constantly, wipers are going everywhere. You got the semis when you get between them and the gust of rain, all that. I bench that. Cutting snow because there's always that Richard that's driving the, double stroke power 350 Hemi that's flying by you and you're like, all right, dude, like,
roads are good, man.
Yeah, so get snow the hell out of here. Traffic I start, and then the heavy rain I bench because I'll just go to a gas station and go inside and stay. It gives me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I'll bench traffic. I'll cut rain. I think I'll start snow. I think Bob kind of sold me.
Yeah, you drove today too. That's good.
I did not, but yes.
Yeah. We
He
get
sat in the back seat too.
He's just used to Ubers.
I mean, dude
Was it
gets
weird
in
for
the
you?
back. So yeah, it's bizarre.
Driving Mr. Maury.
Yeah.
It's the way Mom drives me everywhere, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, you still got that little seat back there that's got the mirror in the back of the seat.
Juice box.
We go to backups again. Carson Wentz, Chad Henne, or Matt Moore. Who do you start, bench, cut? I know none of you are saying starting Wentz.
You can go first on this one.
Okay, I would start Chad Henne. I would bench Matt Moore, and I would cut Carson Wentz.
Agreed.
I was not expecting to see what a lot of people thought they'd see. This is a big opportunity for Carson Wentz to show it. Again, I know. That's right. I love Chad Henne, man. The guy's just a dude. I would love to go to Stewie McBruce, sit down at the bar, and be like, dude, let's talk about that Cleveland drive.
Is Chad Henne the one who was working at the Subway in that commercial behind Mahomes, or is that Matt Moore?
And then he's the guy that was in like the casual suburban outfit drinking a Bud Light at the field. Like, I think that might have been the chick from the Jeffersons watch party.
So I'm going to go Henne. I'll start Henne.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll bench Matt Moore. And Carson Wentz, sorry, bro. You had an opportunity here to do something.
The only reason Matt Moore gets the slide, he beat Denver in Denver. Carson Wentz didn't beat Denver in Denver.
That's it, man.
Well, Carson Wentz did not look like on Underdog Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
They had a free bet.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz higher or lower than a half total yards
So
of
you took
offense.
it.
Well, of course you
And
take
then you
it. Half
sweat
yard.
it.
Do you know what he finished with?
No.
10 total yards. By the time you factored in sacks and all that stuff, he barely beat the free half yard higher or lower on Underdog Fantasy this week. I took higher.
Yeah.
But boy, I was sweating that
this'll
out.
hit. It's like when they gave you that prop bet 2 years ago, Justin Herbert throwing a touchdown. He's done it every game as a starter,
Yeah,
and then he didn't throw the touchdown. Everybody came into work the next day. It's like, screw Justin Herbert and betting.
Yeah.
We'll see you all Friday night. This one's obvious. I know who we're all going to start, but best playoff football places, Kansas City, Green Bay, Buffalo.
Starting Kansas City.
Avi.
Probably benching Green Bay and then cutting Buffalo.
I mean, you can't really lose on those last two. I mean, obviously, Arrowhead and playoff, it's something different. Whether they play the 18th or the 19th, people will be there at 1 a.m. But like Lambeau in the playoff, like, did you see the video of the water bottle?
Yeah.
insane.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. That was nuts.
I was like, what in the hell? Is it school day at the Lambeau? Like they're showing science experiences. But Buffalo's rowdy. Tables on fire. Guys getting sprayed with mustard.
Now,
snowballs flying.
You'd want to go to a game in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
September.
So much fun.
In September.
Yeah. And then start, bench, cut. Playoff night for the opening weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Right in that order. Start Saturday, bench Sunday, and cut Monday. The Monday game, do we need that? We really don't.
Shortens the week for the next week, man.
It does,
so I'll take it.
yeah.
Yeah, agreed. That's it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep.
Start, bench, cut, brought to you by J Southland Tow Service. It is also the sponsor of the text line. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Josh Briscoe here on Fescoe and Dusty. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes content from the show. Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was talking about that, that wager I made on the Underdog Fantasy app this weekend, and the good news is whether you're in Kansas or Missouri, you can use the Underdog Fantasy app right now, especially for Missouri fans. Underdog is available to play in your state. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your takes during the playoffs, which players are going to go off, which ones are going to stay ice cold, and with over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. So this weekend, I took Carson Wentz over half total yard, right? You know what else I did this weekend? I took Bo Nix. I wanted Bo Nix to go higher than the 227.5 passing yards that they listed it at. And then I wanted Devontae Adams to go higher than half a touchdown. Hit on all three this weekend on the Underdog Fantasy app, and I cleaned up. $10 wager won me $76. Underdog is the best place to play champs games, which you could end up winning up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower for your player stats. You just download the app, sign up with the promo code BOB, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's using the promo code BOB, B-O-B. It's Underdog Fantasy. Download the app today. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Where will 2025 take you? With an education from University of Maryland Global Campus, it could take you towards your next success. An accredited state university, UMGC helps working adults like you learn the skills you need for the career you want. And with no application fee through February 12th, there is no better time to start. Choose from more than 135 degrees and certificates in career-relevant fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Plus, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks for most courses, personalized support, and lifetime career services. And with transfer credits and scholarships for those who qualify, UMGC can help you take a leap forward no matter where you are in your education journey. Classes start soon. Apply now and get your application fee waived through February 12th. Visit umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
So, you got a new gadget over the holidays. Don't forget to listen to your favorite station on Odyssey. Unwrapped a new Amazon Echo or Google Home? Be sure to tell your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Received a new Sonos speaker? Check on Odyssey on the Sonos app for access to hundreds of stations. Got a new phone? Don't forget that the Odyssey app is the only way you can jump to your favorite show with Rewind. No matter what you received this year, listen to your favorites with Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Today, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 17.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Diving back into it on a Tuesday. I honestly don't know what day of the week it is, but I've been told it's Tuesday in my ear from Mac. He says everything's good. Josh Briscoe, our Chiefs contributor, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. Mr. Briscoe, did you do the head dive into the snow, or are you like me where it's like poison or the ground is lava and you stay away from that white substance that's outside on the ground?
I have always been kind of like, I was a winter kid, you know, like my birthday's around Christmas. I love the Christmas season. And snow days as a kid are like a magical thing, obviously, right? I was homeschooled, so I wasn't exactly getting out of classes, but I could still go outside after we finished, you know, reading whatever book we were reading. But I still have a little bit of romanticism for a good snow day. The real perk now, though, is that I don't have to leave the house like 6 days a week. And last night I didn't come in there to do the Josh Briscoe show because, you know, the city was under snow. So I enjoy looking out there at it. I don't enjoy shoveling it. I got some great pictures of some local backyard birds yesterday. So I'm trying to embrace the snow day vibe. As soon as it starts getting slushy and black in the streets, then it's very hard for me to keep it up at that point. But right now I'm right at the tail end of that sweet spot.
Yeah, it's going to start turning into that mush. And, you're not going to be able to wear shoes that look nice for 2 months around here. And, you know, snow days are great when you're a kid. They are just the absolute best. But then when you become an adult and realize I got to get around and life continues to move on, they suck. That's why I was so pleased with everything that happened in this town yesterday. Everybody just said, you know what, screw it. We're taking a 3-day weekend. A lot of people probably haven't been back for the holidays yet, you know, and so they're still kind of on vacation. They just took that Monday and let people get out there and do their job, and boy, they did a great job of plowing all those streets for everybody. So now you can get back out there and do all your hijinks.
You're right, though. Like, what a good job from everybody. I know not everybody. I saw a couple of videos here and there, but there were not many people out there trying to brave the ice rink. Good job, Kansas City. You stayed inside, drank hot cocoa, and let the real toughies out there to clean up our mess. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was, and it allowed the mess to be cleaned up fast. And now here we sit on a Tuesday, and at 4:00 this morning, there was blacktop driving in. So I'm good with where we are right now. Are you concerned with Harrison Butker, or is that just a few of us going, something doesn't look right here?
I mean, I think you're at least well within your rights to say something doesn't look right. I mean, we have enough of a sample size now where I think it would have been reasonable from the jump to say, hey, maybe there's going to be a little bit of an issue with his range, and so as he gets further away, maybe he's pressing a little bit more. But we've seen it at various depths to this point. I don't think I'm in panic mode or anything like that. Like, I think his resume still extends beyond just what he's done since coming back from the injury. But I also would feel a lot better if we were having this conversation in week 7, as opposed to right before the playoffs are going to begin. So, yeah, I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I might be at like a 6.5 or a 7. Like, I'm not expecting him to implode in the playoffs, but I'm thinking about that in a way that I haven't for Harrison Butker for years and years and years.
Yeah, I think that's where you nailed it, which is where I was at, is like, we're going into week 18 and the previous week misses one, week 18 misses one, doesn't seem right. It's like, this is where like Butker really kind of like starts to turn it on, because we all know the 13-second game, the Cincinnati game, Super Bowl games have been that way. And it's a vital piece of the offense. So I think the timing is where I think we brought this up, because it's just like, here we go. What are we going to, is everything all right? But again, who are we to judge? In the past, when Butker's been, shanked and bamboozled with missing too many extra points, it's like the playoffs start and it's like, oh yeah, that Harrison Butker guy, he's pretty good.
Maybe they were giving him the day off yesterday by and large, It's like, hey, we're not going to move the ball very much. We're going to need you out there like once, maybe twice. We're not even going to score if you have to kick off any.
Right.
I think the to your point about like the big moments that are often punctuated by Harrison Butker winning the game or getting him to overtime or whatever it's been, part of that feeling, and Mahomes has talked about this, and I think you've seen it. If you just watch how Mahomes behaves after getting them into long field goal range and then going to the sidelines, it feels like scoring when you set Harrison Butker up for a 54-yarder in the playoffs somewhere. Like, you assume that that's going in with a very, very high degree of confidence. I wonder if the Chiefs are going to second guess that at all. Is Andy Reid going to move his, like, safety window for Butker up by 5 yards? And if so, is that the thing that costs you a game? Again, I'm not like soothsaying for it, but I think you're right to be at least wondering about the potential for that being a problem.
Yeah, and I think too, Josh, going into the postseason now, you look around and you start to, do the cliches of what's your biggest concern. Mine is Butker right now. I think the offensive line is kind of taking care of itself. I mean, Joe Tooney's been outstanding. The wide receivers have graduated to their next level. Mahomes is playing good football. Like, that's really the concern that I have right now going in, because it is an unknown with Harrison Butker, and it's been something that we've known and could rely on for the last, 7 years. It's like we took him for granted, which we did, but now we got a spot where we can't take him for granted.
Yeah, and there have been a few things, kind of to your point about, like, well, the offensive issues, the defensive issues, maybe Jalen Watson's on his way back to help at corner too. The idea of kind of looking at special teams right now, where they've had a little bit of an issue here, and that Remigio's shown some burst. He's also shown a little bit of carelessness with the football, or at least the ability to lose it. And then Ariza obviously has a huge leg, but he has put it into the end zone, I think, a little more often.
Way too many times.
Like him to. The directional stuff has not been great, and the dead drop coffin corner stuff has barely been there. So it's, I think, a good thing to be here at, the end of the first week of January and talking about field position and special teams, but that matters more and more as the games matter more and more. And again, the Chiefs have found great success on the back of great special teams, it obviously tertiary up behind the offense and defense, but great special teams have been something they could count on throughout this dynasty. And right now I'm a little less confident in it.
JB, it is the best time of the year. It's playoff football time, so we get to see which teams choke, which teams don't. I brought up a question. Whose seat is hotter if they lose in round one? John Harbaugh's or Mike Tomlin's?
Boy, that's interesting. I am generally going to believe that once you've made the playoffs, your seat has cooled down by like 15 more degrees. It's just such a rare thing for owners to go back on their team having some success and then to say, we're going to bring it down a notch. I kind of think Tomlin's just going to be there until he doesn't want to be there anymore. I know that probably won't actually happen because he's not as old as, Bill Belichick in that similar circumstance, but I have such a hard time seeing him go anywhere. But I think the Ravens would be making a bigger mistake at this point. I know that they have had all sorts of underwhelming playoff performances, but I'd be really, really surprised to see either of them go.
Yeah, I don't think they go, but I think with those guys, they kind of have immunity, right? Like they don't ever get talked about in that regard of and we had Nate Taylor on last week, and he was like, hey, people in Pittsburgh have told me that there's talk, Tomlin's, who's 8-10 in the playoffs, right? He has a Super Bowl win, he's done fine, never had a losing season, but at some point, even Marty Schottenheimer got ran out of Kansas City.
Yeah, and I think the consistent playoff shortcomings are the argument for that. Mm-hmm. The thing that makes it hard for me to pinpoint, and again, this isn't directly related to Tomlin or Harbaugh, I guess, but it's in the same division. What does Zach Taylor have to do exactly to be mentioned in this group where he has an MVP caliber quarterback candidate and an MVP caliber wide receiver and then a second next tier wide receiver? And I can't believe they fired Lou Anarumo. I'm glad for it from the Chiefs' perspective, but that's neither here nor there. I understand that getting to the playoffs and coming up short is very, very frustrating. There are other coaches who aren't even getting there consistently right now, whose seats don't seem that hot, which I think is ultimately a reflection of ownership and the rest of the organization, which is why the Steelers and Ravens are two tough ones for me to see them doing something super reactionary. Mm-hmm. But maybe eventually Pittsburgh just says, yeah, this isn't working and we'll do a hard reset. Maybe if they do exit right here out of the gate, which I expect them to do, maybe next year feels a little more like a hot seat season. You get one more year with Russ, presumably, and then if they don't do anything next year, then maybe the Steelers look somewhere else. Maybe they try to do the full reset with a new head coach and a new quarterback. But again, saying you're going to fire Mike Tomlin sounds pretty good until you have to hire his replacement.
Yeah, that's where I go. There's just not enough good coaches out there in this league today to go out there and fire two great ones in Harbaugh and Tomlin. Not that I think either of them are going to get fired, but you look around this league right now, no matter what era you're in, what coach walked away on his own? I mean, Andy got fired in Philly, right? You saw
Cowher, I guess, is the one I can think of.
Yeah, maybe he walked away on his own, but Landry got fired in Dallas. Jimmy Johnson got fired in Dallas. We see Pete Carroll get fired in Seattle. Bill Parcells eventually moves on. All of these coaches pretty much didn't write their own ticket out. They had to be shown the door, their way out. And so it may come to that at some point with Harbaugh or Tomlin. But again, who's the backfill right now? Because there just isn't a good grouping of – I don't even know that guy who calls plays in Detroit is going to be a good head football coach.
Benny J, man.
Something wild about Cowher. I mean, he already, Tomlin has already passed up Cowher's tenure.
Wow.
Yeah. Cowher was there for 15 years, and Tomlin's been there for 18, which feels insane.
Oh, yeah.
And to this conversation's point, they won a Super Bowl in year 2 with Tomlin at the helm, and They went to one more after that a couple years later, and then it's been almost 15 years of disappointments on various levels. But to your point, Bob, there might be 50 good head coaches in the NFL power structure right now. The other problem though is that we have no idea who they are. We and owners and GMs, we get that wrong all the time. And so I think the Jets are doing the right thing here. Don't quote me. Don't clip me saying that. I don't believe that very often. But I think they're doing the right thing by interviewing just 60 guys.
Everybody.
If you have ever coached football, if you've thought about coaching football, if you've worked with Andy Reid, if you worked with Rex Ryan, go ahead and come in for an interview. Now, they'll probably bungle it when they make the actual decision, but cast the widest net possible. That's fine. But there are guys who seemed like really logical hires, that ended up, kind of sputtering out. There are guys that were, Dan Campbell was a weird hire, and he's obviously been a huge success there. You get bad opening press conferences from guys that end up being good coaches. I don't know where Mike McDaniel's headed right now. I mean, he's going to get another year in Miami. I think he probably should, but he looked like a wonderkind for a season, or almost a full season, and now it's kind of fallen apart. Matt Nagy was the coach of the year, a logical hire out of Andy Reid's offense. He goes and wins coach of the year and then gets fired a couple of years later. It's really hard to be a head coach, to be in a good organization, and to be able to have that organization figure out who the head coach is. Again, it's why of all the things that I do deeply begrudge NFL ownership over, because I think there's a lot of bad management throughout the entire organization of the NFL. The one thing I don't really begrudge is the idea that you're really afraid to hire this head coach who knows how to do it and can do it at a pretty high level. Going for the new face, again, even the Seahawks, who had Pete Carroll there for a long time. Pete Carroll's older than you think. I understand why you get bored, why it gets itchy if you're an owner that hasn't won anything in a while. But man, it's a huge, huge gamble.
But look at all the teams that have had successful head coaches for an extended period of time. You got the Chiefs, you got Baltimore, you got Pittsburgh. Let's just use those three. What do they all have in common? Great ownership. The teams that constantly turn over, the Bears, the Jets, the Giants, all of these franchises that are the Jaguars that are turning over their coaches, what do they have in place? Bad ownership. The Bears can hire whoever they want. They're never going to be good as long as they have the ownership that they have. Matt Nagy was 34-31 and took Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years he was their head coach, and they still fired him because their ownership is total ass.
This is another trail off of it, but what are the Jags and Colts doing? Khan and Irsay saying no, we specific for Irsay. I know they're just keeping the structure. I think this was year 8 for Chris Ballard, which seems insane because we all probably remember him interviewing for that job as a Chiefs assistant. He's been there forever and they've won nothing, and their drafts haven't been good. And I think, I don't know. I was in on the head coach Anthony Richardson combo, see if you can develop this guy, and it's a worthy swing to take as you're trying to find one of these rare quarterbacks that the NFL has to offer. But they balked on that plan mid-season, and there might be a whole bunch of other issues there on the field, off the field, locker room, cultural, all of those things. And that's an instance where the Colts are saying, we don't actually have the guys that know how to do this at a high level, but we're really afraid or too frustrating to go through the hiring process again. Bizarre. Meanwhile, the Jags are going to try to hire a new head coach that wants to be there with their GM, who is, I think, ushered through a couple of like failed, restarted rebuilds.
Yeah.
It's really, really bizarre to me, man. Again, there's a ton of bad ownership, and when the owners actually have to make a decision, you'd better hope they get it right, and way too many of them are afraid to make those moves.
Well, in
Again,
Jacksonville,
it's hard.
too, you mentioned, the general manager who's, messing things up, to which I don't understand why Ian Rappaport called Jacksonville a coveted job yesterday. I think that's just ball washer NFL insider crap.
Yeah. The matrix is falling. The scales are falling from a lot of people's eyes here. Just whenever you get like the Schefter Rappaport back-to-back tweets, or you get a weirdly editorialized tweet somewhere, it's like, this player got cut in week 16 so they could hope to catch on with a playoff team before the playoffs arrive. Thank you, his agent. I appreciate you passing that along from this player. Or in this case, just a coveted job. That's awesome, man. I bet Trent Baalke's going to give you a great scoop whenever the Jags hire their head coach. Rappaport's going to get a little bit of a leg up on reporting that news. That whole game is really, really gross. And if anybody listening is like, well, let me see if I can track this. Whenever you see these big national insiders report information, ask yourself where you think they got that information from.
Right.
And you'll get a couple of them wrong here and there, but you'll connect some of those dots and you'll see the sausage being made, and you will not like it.
It's like shoveling your driveway is a better thing to do for your house. Thanks, home association. I appreciate that. No, exactly right. I bring this up from DraftKings, and bear with me for a little bit because there's 6 games. The playoffs are on the brink. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Which game do you feel like you could put, a good amount of money on that you're confident? Chargers -2.5 at Houston, Baltimore -9.5 versus Pittsburgh, Bills -8.5 versus Denver, Philly -4.5 versus Green Bay, Bucks -3 versus Washington, Rams +1.5 versus Minnesota. All those lines from DraftKings, but which one of those do you feel like if you're playing poker and you want to move half your stack to, you're like, I think this will be a safe bet? Which one do you put that on?
This isn't a team that I've believed in at any point throughout the vast majority of the regular season, but with those lines, I think the only one that I'd be willing to give the points on is probably Philly. 4.5, and the Packers keep getting more injured, and it just sort of feels like the wheels haven't fallen off, but that wagon started wobbling a little bit towards the end of the season, while the Eagles have seemed to kind of round into shape, and they rested their starters and nobody cared, by the way. I don't know if anybody missed that, but the Eagles, Saquon did not play. I know. If Saquon had any respect for NFL history, he would have gone out there and torn his ACL for that game. But
Zay Flowers did.
I think, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, great coaching all around. And not that it was it was still some choice in the matter. I digress.
Sure.
I think I'd go with the Eagles there, though. I'm a little bit tempted by that Rams just straight up money line at home, but I will not actually be investing there. I think the Eagles are probably the one that I'm the most confident in. Second place might be Buffalo, but I think the Broncos could keep that closer.
More than Chargers 2.5 at Houston.
Yeah, both of those teams are so weird. Because here's the thing, you are betting on who I think, this is kind of funny, I think the better head coach and better quarterback and of course the better combo I think are all on the Los Angeles side there. I enjoy your logic. I will not follow you down there because I am not nearly confident enough in both of the, like Quentin Johnston catching a deep ball is the difference between you making and losing $200 is like just not a way that I want to live my life. But I don't mind that at all. I would pick the Chargers to win that game on the road, but I think I probably have a smidge more confidence in Philly covering.
Well, when they do win, I'll send you the Death Cab for Cuties song that's quoted as "I will follow you into the dark," and I know you get that reference.
I certainly do.
That's right.
I'm just afraid of what's going to happen when your soul embarks.
No doubt about it. Hey, man, take care, stay safe, stay warm, and maybe if you feel like it, go ahead, dive into that snow out there.
All right, I'll do a quick dive in. I'll see if I've got any strong feelings about Chargers -2.5 when I get to the bottom.
No doubt about it. All right, Briscoe, take care, brother. His name is Josh Briscoe. He's the editor at Chiefs on SI.com, our Chiefs contributor, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. That is who that interview's. Mac, that's your guy, JB, talking you out of going Chargers -2.5.
No, man, I can't believe it.
Can't tell me nothing. Still doing it. Still feeling
absolutely.
it.
Lines are made for a reason.
Love my guy Briscoe, but I'm still gonna go.
God, what was it? What were we all arguing? Like, why is Houston underdogs against the Jets?
The Jets won. That's true.
Remember that.
I know.
Those are the games that you have to come back to and remember when you go, this is a lock, then go back to that week for an entire week.
Gosh.
We sat here and talked about it, right?
I really do love Philly. I don't know
who their quarterback is. I can't love anybody when the quarterback's in the concussion protocol.
I bet
now.
we know by Thursday that we'll get something from Sirianni, and like he said, thanks, agent.
That's exactly. Yeah, the agent will tell Schefter.
Shoveling your driveway is a good workout, and it's safer for your car. Signed, Homeowners Association. That's what I'm saying. Your trash can's been in your driveway for 3 days. There's 10 inches of snow on the ground.
Colorado football this year did something that I think is amazing. Like, people wonder why.
You talking about the insurance?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So the Big 12 came out, and apparently there's 16 teams in the Big 12 this year. Did not know that, right? Viewership for Big 12 regular season football games. Which team do you think had the most people watching their games in the Big 12 this year?
Colorado.
Right.
It wasn't even close.
Not close.
Who was second?
K-State.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Huge fan base.
Sorry, Bob.
So Colorado, I'm pausing for effect here. Colorado was the number one watched Big 12 program this year. 22.1% of the people who tuned in to watch a Big 12 game were watching Colorado.
Wow.
Kansas State, as you mentioned, number 2. 7.9%.
Whoa.
So it's
Why do you talk about Colorado so much?
Exactly. Three times the amount of people are watching Colorado play football than any other program in the Big 12.
Hey, what was that one guy's name that's from Tennessee that you like, Bob Blitzer or whatever his name was?
You talking about Buck Rising?
Buck Rising? How about Ron Carthen is out as the Titans general manager as of right now?
Marathon just got fired.
Marathon just got fired.
Wow.
Dude, Buck's been saying it.
Yep.
Buck has been saying it.
Rising.
Because they didn't give Rand Carthon 2 years.
This would have been his third draft.
Oh, it would have been this coming up would have been
coming up would have been his third
They
draft.
bounced on that cat fast.
Not when you have the number one overall pick in the league.
Wow.
Get lost,
Wow,
dude.
that's it. I didn't even think of it that way. They got the number one pick. They're like, we can't let this guy screw it up. But again, who are you taking number one?
Shedeur Sanders.
Tennessee Titans, Shedeur Sanders. Number 2, Travis Henry, Cleveland Browns. That's how they figured it out. That's how they scripted
Travis
it in
Hunter?
Colorado.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
Travis Hunter to Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders to Tennessee. That's how it was scripted out. I mean, think about that. They were thinking Vegas. They were thinking New York. Shedeur Sanders to Tennessee, Travis Hunter to Cleveland. Giants are on the clock.
We'll get back to that Tennessee Titans news because Mac knows all about it. Plus, we'll get to our brioche of the weekend. You can still get those brioche buns at Hy-Vee for those chili dogs tonight for all you that chili. You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City Sports.
Fescoe and Dusty. Subscribe and watch the show on YouTube by going to our channel at The Fan 965, Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, you see this weather out here right now. It's terrible. It's cold. It's awful. What if you were going to a nice flight out of town a couple of days ago and you parked outside and you didn't have your car covered? Well, when you came back, you would have had snow and ice and sleet all over your car. But when you use Park and Go, you don't have to worry about any of that because every spot is covered parking. So when you travel this winter and you're headed out of town and there's snow and there's ice and there's sleet and there's rain, your car's always going to be protected at Park and Go. Like I said, every spot is covered parking and their customer service is top notch. You make your reservation at bookparkandgo.com. Boom, it's done. Prepay, save money, get the best deals that they have out there. Then on the day of your flight, you show up, you give them the reservation number, they tell you exactly where to park. Pull into that spot and you're ready to go. They pick you up right away, off to the airport terminal. When you get back, Park and Go makes it so easy as well. Just grab your bags, walk outside, and boom, jump on the bus, and you're right back to the trunk of your car. So join their frequent parker program like we did and earn points towards free parking. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in parking. Bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
Show your Riz. Here's a career opportunity for you. Keller Fire and Safety is hiring fire protection professionals because they are on fire and they need your help, both inside the office and out in the field. Keller needs your experience, but if you don't have it, they'll get you there. Keller has been saving people and property since 1950. Get your career on fire. Look them up online and apply. Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
It's cold outside, and the cupboard is bare. No worries. Let Hy-Vee do the shopping with Aisles Online. It's easy. Go to Hy-Vee.com, choose your store, select your items, and schedule a convenient pickup or delivery time. Right now, get $10 off any $125 Aisles Online purchase. What could be better? We do the shopping and deliver your groceries. You stay warm and save money. Download the Aisles Online app or go to Hy-Vee.com today.
As the Chiefs go for a three-peat in the big game, Hy-Vee's making my life easier. Hy-Vee's my one-stop shop for all game day needs. From official Chiefs apparel to fan favorites, including wings, ready-to-bake pizza, and freshly prepared dips like spinach artichoke, street corn, and buffalo chicken dip. Hy-Vee has Chiefs-themed cookies and sheet cakes and cupcakes as well. Plus, don't forget the Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits department for all of your game day beverages. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just not normal. The pain calls from chronic joint pain day after day. But some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it's become your new normal. Short-term fixes are not working. Make the decision now to say no, not going to live with it. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, joint preservation. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and they're living life again without that constant pain in their joints. Want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these amazing treatments? Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Oh boy, did I see those brioche buns at Hy-Vee this past week?
Oh, we got some over the weekend.
Got to, dude.
Yeah,
they are so
yeah.
good. I also want to do meatball subs and use those. Because they have those little Italian meatballs. You just get a little sauce, you put those in there, and then get that brioche bun out, put about 4 or 5 meatballs in there, ain't done. Oh. Again, I still have the biggest question of all. What's the side with meatball subs? Just baked Lay's? That's what that's what our guy does.
Jerry
eats it with Lay's potato chips and meatball sub. Hell yeah.
Well, and Summer's not real smart.
Well, he's a nice guy.
I didn't say he wasn't nice. I said he's not real smart. He grew up in St. Louis, but he did move, so give him that.
Yeah.
That's a
some people say like fries. Some people
do fries with that.
But I feel like I did this on After Hours. At a left field question. What's the #1 side with meatball subs? 913-586-7965. Feel free to olive salad, Caesar salad.
Yeah.
Like, is that like French fries, potato chips? Like, I really don't know what the side is with meatball
You know,
subs.
we on the 20th of December, that Friday, my friend Paul and I went out to the River Market. We went to Carollo's Deli down there. Frank and company, great job. Had an unbelievable sandwich down there. And so we were paying for our sandwiches. He goes, you get a bag of chips with that as well. I didn't really want the chips. It was like a chicken parm sandwich. I think Paul may have had something similar as well. I didn't really want the chips because I'm just not a huge chip guy at this stage.
Love chips.
But now that you bring it up, like what side goes with
like spaghetti meatballs are always like salad. Somebody makes a salad,
bread stick,
right?
But like with a meatball sandwich, you've already got the bread.
Yeah, the sticks are on the side, the balls are in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what side that would be. I never really even thought like
somebody says mac and cheese. That's
heavy,
dude.
Ooh,
That's
God, that just doesn't flow right with
everybody's
me.
saying chips, Doritos, Harvest Cheddar Sun chips, sweet Italian dressing salad. Good with that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
a sweet
great one.
Italian dressing salad.
Pasta
as a side.
salad. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I would have gone there, but when was the last time you've been wowed by a pasta salad?
The one I make. I know that I'm hard.
When was the last time you were wowed by a
Should I do it again? Should I make my pasta salad and we can do it for Smash or Pass? And you guys will be like, it tastes great.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, and I just
Most
found
pasta
this
salad,
out
you're
over
right,
the weekend. Most pasta salad just isn't that great,
Oh,
right?
I love it.
I found out over the weekend, if you make your pasta on a Tuesday and eat it on a Wednesday or Wednesday, whatever, then eat it the next day, it's actually healthy for you. It has less calories and less carbs.
I know that I'm hard. I just think that if I were to make you guys my pasta salad, you'd be like, somebody says tater tots option.
Oh,
very
tater
good.
tots is a good one.
Tater tots are underrated, dude. Everybody's always like French fries or onion rings. Tater tots.
No,
man.
tots are fantastic. Like you like I'm just
They
trying to say
like they
no.
got to be crispy though.
Yeah, of course.
Like if the air fryer instructions say 8 minutes on 350, put them sons of guns in there for about 12 minutes on 360. I want a.
You want a crispy tot, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want a crispy fry too. There's nothing worse than a soggy, limp fry just kind of hanging there. Like,
I know
oh my
that
god,
I'm
did that
hard.
fry have too much whiskey?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I the side for meatball sub though, I don't know, man.
Tater tots, pasta salad, chips seem to be the top three.
I think I'm going tots. If those are my three choices, I'll go tots.
There's an old school place in Lee Summit called Johnny Ray's. It's like one of those like where the old school cars go on certain nights and show. They got the old school ice cream burgers. Their tater tots. I mean, insane. Insane. All right, brioche of the weekend.
Brioche of the weekend.
Big brioche guy.
Love that. Yeah, good take.
All right, brioche of the weekend. Somebody from the 573 says chili cheese tots tonight. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. No judging on your food the next like 7 days. You want something warm, hearty. When it gets a little clear outside, then you can work on you. But until then, just keep doing your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Brioche of the weekend for me is the meteorologist. Congratulations. I know a lot of people give you guys and gals a bunch of crap every time that you do the weather. They're fear mongers. They're not going to do it. They're not going to get it right. They're going to say 10 inches of snow. We're going to get 2. Guess what? Not only do they get the snow total somewhat accurate, almost dead on, they said could be anywhere from 7 to 12 inches of snow. Most places got anywhere from 9 to 13, right? From what
They
we've
did a
seen in the
good
numbers.
job, yeah.
They got the process of it right. Like I was watching, I think it was Lindsay Anderson, so shout out to her. And she was like, by 3 o'clock on Saturday, you want to be where you need to be for the weekend. She's like, the rain's going to come in, the sleet's going to come in, it's going to get nasty outside. My buddy was supposed to go to Johnny's Tavern and have his daughter's party there because they couldn't go over anywhere north because it was so bad. He wanted somewhere close. He literally, my buddy Jeremy said he pulled up in his driveway, got up the street, and started to slide, turned back around. What time was it? 3:05 when he sent that. And I said, dude, I told you. And then everybody's like, well, how much snow do you think we're going to get? And some of my buddies were like 2 inches. And I was like, just wait till about 6 o'clock on Saturday night or Sunday night and let me know what it looks like outside. So round of applause, hats off, tip off to you, meteorologists all around the metro. They nailed this one.
Yeah, they did. They did a really good job. I'll piggyback you. My brioche of the weekend goes to the plow drivers because when I got up this morning, I didn't know if I was going to make it here today. I mean,
Fair.
you know, I looked
And you got
outside.
a nice car to drive in snow. And it's
Yeah,
still
I got a
the road.
Bronco. I'm still wondering if should I be out on these roads? And our street had not been plowed yet. I don't know if it's been plowed yet. Jen said the plows were starting to show up, so we still had 12 inches.
You got bigger fish to fry,
Yeah,
which is okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Right, I have no problem with that. But I didn't know how the rest of the streets were going to be. If they were able to just take a layer off off what it was going to look like. I'm going to tell you, I was just so impressed with the way that the streets looked this morning. Seeing Blacktop at 4 a.m. was like, oh, thank goodness. They did a great job. We did not have to go out yesterday. Everybody stayed at home. The plow companies, the cities, everybody involved did an amazing job. I think it's the best job I've ever seen a plow company and cities do to get the snow off the road. Bravo to you guys for doing a great job. You did wonderful, man. Very well done.
You think he goes sports?
Of course he does.
This is the bit. Yep, you guys sound awesome, and thank our local workers. I will add on. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The roads look amazing. Everyone, fantastic.
But let's get the brass tacks here.
Yeah. But come on, Mike Evans getting 1,000 yards. Yeah, come on, Brioche of the weekend, baby. Even though they gave him 14 targets, they force fed him. They had him on the play had him on the field with 30 seconds left in a game they should have been kneeling it down in. It was cool to see him get that incentive. Cool to see him keep that record going.
I love the reaction from both teams.
Yeah, both
teams.
were
Everybody was excited.
That was a heated rivalry. That was the Saints and Bucks. Now, I know Lattimore's not there anymore. He probably wouldn't have celebrated, but it was like, congratulations, man. Like, well deserved.
Yes, well deserved.
It was more than money, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because what did he miss? Like 4 games this year?
He missed like 4 games, tied Jerry Rice for the most consecutive seasons with 11 at 1,000 yards or more, arguably the greatest wide receiver of all time. But that was also dudes recognizing dudes that have game, too.
Yeah.
Remember
when Chris Jones did it last year and everybody was like, I mean, it wasn't the other team, but everyone was like on his back, like, congrats.
That was also the last play of the game, the last play of the season, really the last opportunity. You have to get it done. And you did. And I thought it was special because he was able to set that record. And I've been a Mike Evans fan since draft day when he was coming out of the draft from Texas A&M. Heard his backstory. I'm like, I kind of like this guy. I'm going to root for this guy. And look at where he is now. 11 straight years with 1,000 yards. We don't give Mike Evans enough credit for how good a wide receiver he is.
Truthfully incredible. And to your point, Dusty, Marshawn Lattimore, he plays for the Commanders now. Him and Evans will take on each other in the playoffs, baby. One of the best rivalries in football. That'll be fun.
There's a little spice to it. Yeah.
And speaking of your points, speaking of Jerry Rice and history getting passed, there's a Chiefs player that could pass Jerry Rice in the playoffs, and you know exactly who it is. We'll get into that tomorrow.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Remember, go out there and do something nice for somebody. You can never know. Change their day, week, month, or year. It's simply cool to care. Stay warm, stay safe, stay kind. Coming up next, it's Cody Golden Drew from 10 to 2. Talk to you later.
You're listening to Fescoe and Dusty.
I just want to say how awesome it is to have Bob Fescoe and Legend Likens on every morning to start my day. I freaking love you guys.
On your home for Kansas City